Okay, shalom everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope your the beginning of your Shabbat is productive. Well, not productive in a bunch of work, but positive and spiritually productive. Shout out to Kawakab, LA Judah out in Guatemala. Shout out isbhpk Houston, Virginia, Rochester, New York. We had a blast with you guys last week. Just a reminder, we'll be having our second Passover for those who couldn't make the first, May 14th in San Antonio. We do have a certain amount of numbers that we can bring in, so we can't just bring everybody in. We're almost at our peak. So if you haven't registered, do it now, because we might have around 25 to 30 spaces left, and we're going to have to shut it down. We didn't plan on having a large situation. It was just small for those who couldn't make it. So, was that?
Sorry, where do you register exactly?
It's on the e-bite. I put it on the group message.
You put it on the door.
But but anyway, we got that.
Got it.
But I think you're already good. I think the family was already registered already. But anyway, we're going to go into class in a second. We're going to send our prayers up and get started for our Sabbath class. Barak Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, Hahawa, Nathanawa, Awar, Zayawam, Thawada, Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us light this day, this day, thanks, so be it. Barak Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, Hahawa, Nethananawa, Rayach, Nayachacha, Thawada, Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us sweet savor. Thank you, so be it. Majim Waponya Yerushalayim, rise and face Jerusalem. Barak Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, Hahawa, Nathanawa, Hashabbat, Bashalom, Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it. Psalms 121. Anasha, Ayanyamya, Harayam, Ma'aya, Yabu'a, Isaiah, Yabu'a, Ma, Yahweh, Sha'aisha, Shemayim, Aratiza, La'a, Yanathan, Lamawat, Regalia, Yala'a, Nawam, Shashamaya, Hana, Yala'a, Nawam, Wala'a, Yeshan, Shashawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemaya, Yahweh, Zalia, Ayo, Yanyamya, Yad, Hashemash, Yara'a, Hakaya, Bayawam, Wala'a, Halabana, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashemaya, Makol, Rai, Yashemar, Pasha, Yahweh, Yashemar, Awalakya, Abu'aya, Ma'aita, Wa'ai, Iwalam, Aman. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Amen.
As you like credo. Shema Yahshua.
Shema Yahshua.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Eloheinu.
Eloheinu.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Echad.
Echad.
Shema Yahshua.
Shema Yahshua.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Eloheinu.
Eloheinu.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Echad.
Echad.
Shema Yahshua.
Shema Yahshua.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Eloheinu.
Eloheinu.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Echad.
Echad.
Hear, O Israel. Yahweh our power. Yahweh is one. Lord's Prayer. Avanahu. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malak with Kaf. Thaba'ah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashemayim. Natalanu. Lacham. Ko. Yawam. Wasalachanu. Kawatinu. Kasalachanu. Kawatinu. Wala'ah. Dabiano. Banasai Abo. Mawashayna. Mayan. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Ma'ara. Pa'ara. I will love you. Amen. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. 10 Commandments. La'ah Yahaya. Laka. Alahaya. Achaya. Panya. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. 2. La'ah. Ta'ina. Laka. Pasor. Wala'ah. Ta'ibada. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them. Number 3. La'ah. Talach wachat. Sham. Yahweh. Bashua. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain. 4. Zakar. Hayawam. Hashabbat. Laquadash. 4. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Number 5. Kabad Abaka. Ya'amaka. Honor thy father and thy mother. Number 6. La'ah. Saratazak. Thou shalt not kill, murder. Number 7. La'ah. Bana'ah. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Number 8. La'ah. Taganah. Thou shalt not steal. Number 9. La'ah. Ta'ina. Shakwar. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Number 10. La'ah. Bachamad. Call. Asherah. La'ra'aika. Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's. Barak Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the law. Israel Yeshabu. Alrighty then. We're going to get started soon. Just a brief. It's been a few weeks since we've had our Shabbat classes. So the title of this Shabbat class is The Beginning of the Northern Tribes' Captivity. And before we go straight into the captivity parts and the parts where Israel, the 9.5 tribes, start to get dispersed, it's not, class today is not going to be on the complete, shalom everybody online, shalom. It's not going to be about the complete breakdown of the 9.5 tribes. But like the Most High does in all things, he slowly and gradually breaks down your infrastructure. He breaks down how you run your scenarios. He ends up having a lot of infighting amongst the people, amongst the leadership. And then as the infighting gets to, gets to a pinnacle, that's right when the enemy comes in and swipes you out. So we're going to take our time starting from Jeroboam, King Jeroboam II again. We're going to go back just a little bit, get to King Jeroboam II, because pretty much when you read about King Jeroboam II of the northern kingdom, that was pretty much simultaneously the apex of the northern kingdom's power and the beginning of the end for them. Okay, it's kind of the same, kind of two and the same. I'll explain what I mean, but what we're going to do, we're going to start off with let's see, just had it. 2 Kings chapter 14 verse 23 through 29. Karai, let's get this started.
Karaya, Shashavatah, Banashah, Banyasha'ala.
Karaya, Shashavatah, Banashah, Banyasha'ala. I mentioned, bro. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatham.
All right. Yes, sir.
Sir. You say that so King Jeroboam II was basically the beginning of the decline?
Well, I know. Well, okay, it's both, because we're going to read about Jeroboam and how he expanded Israel's borders. And the Most High allowed him to expand the borders to the original borders, or close to the original borders that Israel once had. But then right after Jeroboam dies, it was like 40 years of wickedness and carnal prosperity in the land. But then after the next son that he had was the last of the 4 generations the Most High promised Jehu he was going to have, because Jehu took out Ahab and his family. Most High promised Ahab 4 generations to be in power. They were all wicked. But after Jeroboam, his son Zechariah was only in power for like 6 months. And then everything went downhill after that. So you could say Jeroboam II, his reign was like the apex and the end, and the beginning of the end. Because what was happening is, we're going to read and talk about it in time. I kind of want to give a little background information so it's not confusing. As Israel the northern kingdom was starting to get stronger up north, Syria was getting weaker. Syria, which was their bitter enemy for multiple generations, they were getting weaker. But what nobody was seeing is, as Syria was getting weaker, Assyria was becoming a strong, dominant world power. So Israel was looking at Syria and was like, okay, we're free and clear. We're good again. They didn't realize a bigger, badder power was the one. They don't realize the reason Syria had gotten weakened. Why Syria diminished, and why all of Syria's forces stopped focusing on the west. They started focusing east, and Syria started getting wiped out by Assyria.
And when you read about the Assyrians were masters of torture. They had created a variety of torture instruments that once they dominated you and conquered you, and if you were in violation and not in compliance, they had several variety of ways of extreme measures of torturing you, put you to death. And so this was another reason why Israel, they didn't realize how worse it was going to get.
On top of that, Assyria, during that period of time, their kingdom, on top of others, started implementing different strategies on how they managed their vassal states. You know, before, if you were a vassal state, they would just collect money from you. But Assyria did something different. They started taking the majority of your leadership and your
population,
the caliber of your population, and just taking it away and absorbing it into their country. That was another way that they used to maintain their power. And they would just sit back and just swap different nations that they conquered and put them in different lands, and kept them out of balance. Kept all these nations out of balance, kept them uncomfortable, kept them weakened. And we're going to read about how they took out Israel, sent them up to Assyria, and sent some other nations they conquered into the land that was once ours. But that was a policy that the Assyrians maintained around their entire kingdom. Okay, so I just want to kind of give a backdrop about Jeroboam and how his kingdom was the beginning of a downfall of his entire nation. So let's go to 2 Kings chapter 14, verse 23. Karai, let's get started, sir.
Come. 2 Kings chapter 14 and verse 23. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, began to reign in Samaria, and reigned 41 years.
So if I'm not mistaken, what was Amaziah's other name? He had two names.
Amaziah?
Amaziah.
It wasn't something that sounded like it?
No,
come on.
Uzziah?
No, it wasn't Uzziah. Because this Amaziah, if I'm not mistaken, was the one who was fighting against, who beat the Edomites and thought he was on some level and took their God.
Yeah,
But following the God of the people that he just took over, and he fought Jehoash and got his ass kicked, and he was he fought Jehoash, which was the father of Jeroboam, and Jehoash came in and broke down the walls of Amaziah. Maybe Amaziah was his name. I just get confused sometimes.
But Azariah is also known as Uzziah. It was
Azariah.
That's
the next one. Yes.
Yeah, he got two names. He's known as Uzziah. Is also known as Azariah.
Yeah, so that's the one. It's the next name, which is Azariah, which is Uzziah. Amaziah could be Amaziah. You know, we might as well just double check that and go in Chronicles. I think it's in 2 Chronicles. I think we're in 2 Chronicles explains it just for the sake of understanding, because these names can get confusing. It is Amaziah. Yeah, Amaziah's name was Amaziah. It was Azariah, like you said. That was Uzziah. Azariah was the son of Amaziah. Okay, so let's read verse that verse again. Where you were at?
Yes, sir.
23.
2 Kings chapter 14 and verse 23. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah.
Just to make sure we got this right, Amaziah was the one who took the southern kingdom's forces, took out Edom. In that rock city Petra. His pride got lifted up. He went to go challenge Jehoash, which was the king of the northern kingdom. Jehoash came down, whipped up on him, brought Amaziah back up to the northern kingdom as a slave for a period of time, or as pretty much to have him in bondage over there. Sent him back down, and the Jews ended up killing him. That's what happened with Amaziah. Okay. And he was also serving an idol, so that was another reason why the Moses took him out in the first place. So now we're here in the 15th year of his reign.
So he'd be 40 years old at this time, because Amaziah died at 54. So he came into power when he was 25.
Okay.
So he's at this point he's 40 years old, and he's been in rulership for 15 years.
And even as we explain this northern kingdom, then we have to as we're teaching about the northern kingdom, we got to go and talk about the southern kingdom history so we don't get confused. So now, as Amaziah is in his 15th year, more than likely at this time, he is in bondage still to the northern kingdom, Jehoash. Now what they say is, when there's a shift and a change of leadership, that's when the king goes back to his land. So Jehoash had him up there probably to the 15th year. So now that the new king has come in, Amaziah goes back home. So read verse 23 again.
Come. 2 Kings chapter 14 verse 23. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel.
Now listen, that second Joash or Jeroboam the son of Joash. It's Jeroboam, the son of Jehoash. Okay, it's Jehoash. Read verse 16. Just to double check that.
2 Kings 14 and verse 16. And Jehoash slept with his fathers and was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. And Jeroboam, his son, reigned in his stead.
So it's letting you know, sometimes it's spelled Joash, other times it's Jehoash. But Jehoash was the one who broke Amaziah and sent him back up to the northern kingdom as a prisoner, along with his princes. Now we're here now. Jehoash's son is Jeroboam, and his time to reign in Samaria. Continue in verse 24 now. So he reigned 41 years is what verse 23 says, right? Read that last line.
It says, began to reign in Samaria and reigned 41 years.
So Jeroboam reigned 41 years as the king of the northern kingdom. Read on.
Verse 24. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High. He departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin.
So listen, he sat back here, he doubled down on all the wicked ways of even back in the time with Jeroboam, the first Jeroboam's wicked actions. Read on.
Verse 25. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of the Most High power of Israel, which he spake by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which was of Gath-Hefer.
We mentioned this, and Shamchuan went over the class about the story of Jonah. The reason we went into the story of Jonah, because this was the period of time where Jonah was the prophet of the time after who died? Elisha died not too long ago. Now it was the quote-unquote, the air quote, minor prophets' time to start reigning as prophets. You'll find out that whether it's the book of Amos, the book of Nahum, the book of Jonah, all those minor prophets were the ones teaching at this time.
And they came out of that school of the prophets.
Yes.
That was under Elisha's tutelage.
Just for us to be safe, more than likely it happened. More than likely they came out of that school, just to cover our ass. You know what I mean? Because there was a school that Elijah was sitting back in, at least supervising at the time. You remember that, right?
He was feeding them.
He was developing them. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to come to him and build a bigger house.
Bigger school.
Because there was more students. And he said, go ahead and do it. And one of the guys had a borrowed axe, which sounds like, I can't
right. Yeah. And the head of it came
exactly, went to the water. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's just letting you know he was prepping the next generation of teachers and prophets. So now there's a good chance these men came from that area, were those quote-unquote minor prophets. They weren't really minor prophets. They may come off like they're minor prophets, but they were great men. So what they're saying here in verse 25 is Jonah prophesied to Jeroboam that during his reign, they were going to expand their empire. And expansion just means getting back to the territories that they once had. Why is that important? Because who was breaking them down and diminishing them to a low level? Because y'all remember. Y'all remember who was breaking them down to where their lands and their areas were diminished? Remember?
Not the Assyrians. We're talking about the northern kingdom still.
We're talking about the northern kingdom, sir.
Not the Assyrians at the time?
Nope.
That's what my.
Remember when right before Elisha died, right before Elisha died, the king that was in charge ended up bowing down to Elisha, saying that, man, these guys are about to break us, what do I do? Remember he told him to sit back and shoot the arrow multiple times? He didn't say, he said shoot the arrow. And the shooting of the arrow represented the victories we were going to get from the Syrian Empire.
Yeah,
Syria was the one that was breaking us down, because before that story, Syria was breaking our borders down, and they were taking over some of our cities. Okay? So now, Jonah's explaining to Jeroboam that those cities that we lost, the borders that were broken down, are going to get enlarged again, and we're going to recover the spaces and lands that was once our land from the beginning. If you look online, I'm going to post this picture up. This is just us recovering the land and space that we at once had.
It's no different than today. You know, when you got a case right now where a Judite brothers in Houston, he's had this land for several generations, and an apartment complex is coming in, and they did a new survey, and on the new survey he loses 6 feet of his property, and he said, I'm gonna fight for it because I don't know who made that survey, and this has always been in my family. This land has always been in my land. This land has always been in my family, and we have right to this 6 feet of backyard that they're about to cut off. But they do it all the time. And, you know, today they just call it gentrification, where they come in and they start chipping away at your property, or they start chipping away at your neighborhoods and your communities and start taking it over. That's nothing new.
Huh?
They've been doing that. They do it now. They was doing it then.
So what's happening now is, during the time of Jeroboam, the prophet Jonah saying, hey, you guys are going to get back and restore the land that you lost from the Syrian Empire. So at this particular time, the Syrian Empire is diminishing while Israel is increasing. And as we read in Josephus and in the scriptures, that's fueling Jeroboam's pride. The idea that you're finding success is fueling pride. Even as Israelites, we got to be careful. Just because you're finding success doesn't mean that guarantees that you're right with the Most High. Sometimes you could be having success and the Most High is setting you up for a big fall, because that's what's happening here. Everybody up north is sitting back here serving all kind of crazy ass gods and serpents and animals and all kind of crazy shit, and they're sitting back here, they're winning, they're making money, they're finding success in their business.
Yep.
Everything's looking good, and in their eyes, the gods are with them.
The Most High is with them, right?
Exactly. So what's happening is, just because you find success doesn't mean success is there for you. It's almost like this. It's almost like the Most High set them up like, I'm going to blow you up to make you a bigger target for a bigger fish to take you down. That's what it looked like. Because all this land that they're acquiring now is bringing that attention back to them from the Assyrian Empire. So as the Assyrians are wiping out the Syrian Empire, and Syria is diminishing, Syria is falling, they're like, what's over there across the way from the Syrians? This is what the background of what's about to happen. This is how it's setting up. Okay? Just want y'all to be conscious of that. So, let's read verse 26.
2 Kings chapter 14 and verse 26. For the Most High saw the affliction of Israel, that it was very bitter.
He did. He mentioned this earlier when he felt bad about the conditions that the Syrians left Israel under. Remember when Elisha went to talk to, I think it was Ben-Hadad, and told him that you were going to be the next king over Israel? And then he cried in front of him?
Mm-hmm.
Because he cried because he knew what was about to happen to his people. And what that man did is killed his master. Because remember, his master was sick. So his number 2 came to Elisha and said, hey, is my master going to get healed? He said, yes, but you're going to be the next in charge. He heard that shit and forgot all about that, the master's going to be healed thing. He's like, I'm going to put a pillow over this guy and finish him off the old-fashioned way. So he did that, and then that next king came in and ushered in a tyrannical, scary, tumultuous set of seasons of leadership, to where the northern kingdom was getting pillaged, especially Gilead, and the Israelites were Gad, Manasseh, and Reuben are. The east of the Gilead, the east of the Jordan, is where the Syrians, where you see Aram at the top right-hand corner, Aram is Syria. So they started really pillaging that entire eastern side of Israel's land. And so the Most High in verse 26 is like, the Most High saw the affliction of Israel, that it was very bitter. Read on.
For there was not any shut up, nor any left, nor any helper for Israel.
There was nobody to look after the people. So, you know, the Most High is like, even though there was no spiritual savior, there was nobody that can reteach Israel and get Israel's heads right, because the Most High had some empathy for him, he's like, you know what? Let me give them a basic little reprieve before the real hit comes. I'm going to give them a little time to breathe, give them a little bit of success. It's only 41 years. I'll give them 41 years of peace before the real pain and the real suffering comes. That's how the Most High deals with us also. So a lot of times, the little success could be just a breather before the big blow comes. Why is that important to know? What was you going to say?
Oh, like the eye of the storm?
Yeah. Or the quiet before the storm.
Calm before the storm comes.
Yeah, because before it really gets bad, the Most High was giving us a breather. So listen, why are we saying this? Are we sitting back here saying, if you get any blessings, you better watch out because Satan's come right behind it?
All blessings.
Ooh, I'm going to get you.
They're setups.
They're all setups, so don't smile when you get the good. We're not saying that. What we're saying is, be conscious that whether it's good happening, whether it's bad happening, am I going to still do right by the Heavenly Father? Paul said, I know how to be abound and abased. Meaning what? His consciousness of the Father didn't waver whether things were good or bad. Some of us, when things are good, we get sloppy, we get lazy, we get comfortable, we get into our flesh. What we're supposed to do is, when whatever's happening in our life, it shouldn't change our respect and honor towards the Heavenly Father. That's the mindset that we have to have.
I just want to bring this scripture up.
Yes,
too.
sir.
Just want to bring this up real quick because this happened constantly to the kings, whether it was Asa or whether it was Uzziah. It's 2 Chronicles chapter 26, 14 through 16.
Fine. 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 14.
Give me a second, sir. Okay, go.
All right.
Fine. And Uzziah prepared for them throughout all the host shields and spears and helmets and habergeons and bows and slings to cast stones. And he made in Jerusalem engines invented by cunning men to be on the towers and upon the bulwarks, to shoot arrows and great stones withal.
Go ahead.
And his name spread far abroad.
So when you start getting success and you start getting a name for yourself and you're starting to get a little bit of notoriety and you're starting to get, people start to recognize you, you get a little recognition, and people start to see and know your name starts traveling around, and people say, man, I've heard of this guy. But what happens to a man when that happens? Yeah, that head blows up.
Can't tell me nothing.
Can't tell him nothing. So that when you start tasting success,
only God can judge me.
only God. Yeah, you get that tattoo on your forearm. Only God can judge me, right?
It's the worst shit ever.
Yeah. So I only fear God.
Yeah,
right?
not man.
Not man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
God.
Read on.
For he was marvelously helped till he was strong.
It said, but when a man is getting good, he's tasting success, and he's starting to make a name for himself. What happens? Read on.
Can I put one point, sir?
Mm-hmm.
And the key point was, he was marvelously helped. It was the Most High helping him.
Yeah.
Well, we don't realize when we come into, some type of authority, we come into some type of status.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was because the Most High helped you.
Yes.
Israel forgets that the Most High is the one that helps. We look at the physical condition, or we look what I'm doing, or we look at
our ingenuity.
Our ingenuity, or people's response to me. Because people respond to me a certain way. Shalom, King. Oh,
Yeah.
now I'm somebody.
When I was just a brother. When it was before Shalom, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 16. But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction.
It said that's what the Most High will do. He'll let you taste success, but how you respond to the success will determine whether he'll keep you in power or he'll bring you down.
Wow.
How do you respond to that success?
The first thing is, do you forget who gave you the success in the first place?
Yep. You become forgetful. And then now it's you. It was your ingenuity. It was your creativity. It was your designs and your planning that brought the success. And that's when the man's heart started getting lifted up. But that's you get lifted up just to get brought back down.
Okay.
Just to get humbled back down. Just wanted to bring that out. You can let that go.
No doubt. So we're back in 2 Kings chapter 14 in verse 27. So just to recap real quick. So the Most High felt sorry for Israel after all the years of turmoil by the Syrian Empire. So he decided to give Jeroboam and the nation of Israel, the northern kingdom, an opportunity for a breather to get themselves back on their feet. Just give them a couple years of no war and some peace before the Most High knows the inevitable hammer is about to drop. Because they've gone generation after generation after generation with no change since Jeroboam. There was no, when you look at those charts of all the kings of the northern kingdom of Israel, and you look at the chart of the southern kingdom of Israel, bro, there was no good king in the north. There was no good king in the north. And it had to be over 10 to 15 kings. And not one of them was good. Most I had no choice but to destroy him. And like the Most High explains, take them out of his sight. Because his sight was fixed on Jerusalem, was fixed on Israel. So the point is the Most High backs off from Israel, but before he decides to back off of them, he gives them a reprieve. He gives them a breather. Okay? So let's get verse 27.
Come. 2 Kings chapter 14 and verse 27. And the Most High said, not that he would blot out the name of Israel from under heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam, the son of Joash.
Oh, come on.
And that was exactly what was going to happen right there. But that was exactly what we explained just now. The Most High was going to have mercy on Israel. Even though Israel didn't necessarily deserve it, he was going to have mercy on them. But continue. I'm pretty sure that was recorded.
That's what the Most High does. Because you know, when we cry to the Most High, we're humble. That's when he'll send help. Well, we have to get humbled down and broken. You know what I'm saying? We have to be humble, and then the Most High will send some assistance, man.
Listen, let's pull this verse. This is a good verse now, God. Hosea 4:7.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 7.
Hold on 1 second. Read that.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 7. As they were increased, so they sinned against me.
Now listen, the Most High understands he wanted to give him a reprieve, but also, it was also in hopes that if I give him a reprieve, maybe they'll repent to him. Maybe with that reprieve, we would consider that the Most High is really showing us mercy. But we didn't sit back and think of it that way. The more we got blessed, the more we sinned. The more we got things that we wanted, the more we sinned and got negative. But continue.
Therefore will I change their glory into shame.
So the things that, listen, he says he's going to quickly change that glory into shame, and that's what happened here. What they gloried in their land acquisitions, their financial increase, the good that was happening in their life, he turned their blessing into a curse. Matter of fact, I think it's Malachi chapter 2 and 3 or 3 and 2. No, it's 2 and 2. Malachi 2 and 2.
Malachi chapter 2 and verse 2. If ye would not hear, and if ye would not lay it to heart.
So he says, if you don't listen to what the Most High is trying to get you to see, if we don't lay it to heart, meaning if you don't take change seriously, if you don't take making adjustments in your spirit seriously, then what's going to happen?
It says to give glory unto my name.
To give glory unto the Most High's name. The first way we give glory to the Most High's name is not to sin. So if we choose not to change our ways and lay things to heart, read on.
Saith the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings.
That's the point. He's going to curse the blessings he once gave you. The things that he gave you that was supposed to be a blessing, he will turn them to be a curse. Once again, land.
I should have had how that happens also, on a verse on top of that as well. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 19. How the Most High turn a man's blessings into a curse. You know what I'm saying? The things that you was once proud about, the ones the things that got you notoriety, that got your name out there. He said he'll turn that into a curse. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 19. Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people.
But where's the evil going to come from? Read on.
Even the fruit of their thoughts.
So it was your thoughts that got you cocky.
Success.
It was your thoughts that got you success. It was your ingenuity, your engineering, and the ideas that you came up with. It was your planning. It was the fact that you had foresight, or you could see downrange. And so because you thought, I got this magnificent ideal. I got a magnificent
brain. I got
a magnificent mind. Yeah, I'm so smart. So the Most High will just pollute that fountain of where you think you get your good ideas from.
Everybody thinks they got that wisdom, bro.
Everybody think they're smart, but then the Most High said, listen, I'll curse the area where your ideas come from.
Don't forget, the Most High did say, I will send a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophets out. So he will send you a delusion out to that smart brain of yours out.
Yeah, he'll curse the source.
Yep.
Where he said the fruit of your what?
That's crazy, bro.
The fruit of their thoughts.
Yeah, that's where the origin is of where you got prideful from.
Yeah.
So he'll directly curse that area.
That mechanism.
That mechanism that produces all your smart ideas.
Because the smart ideas produce the pride.
Exactly.
So we got to break the pride.
So
we got to break the mechanism that fuels the pride.
That puts a man on his knees.
God.
It puts a man on his knees.
You know what they do? It takes the idea that I know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
It takes that idea away.
Yeah.
No, the Most High will break a man down to realize I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Read on.
Because they have not hearkened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it.
Because they rejected. So the Most High said, I'm going to reject your thoughts. And so that's how the Most High curse and bring to shame a man because he rejects his word. That's where that shame will come in at.
So the Most High rejects our thoughts because he rejects our intention, because our intention is not to serve him in the first place.
Right.
Or it might have started there, but it changed.
Yeah.
So the Most High has to curse our blessings. Our blessings are the gifts he gave us in the first place, the talents he gave us.
Oh, wow.
He's going to curse your talents. He's going to curse your land. He's going to curse the things you put your hands to. This is what's happening to the Northern Kingdom, and we're taking our time to explain this because we got to stop looking at it like, oh, it's just the big bad Northern Kingdom people. You can take this concept and bring it into a personalized situation in your life. How the things that you have confidence in. Listen, these people in the Northern Kingdom had confidence in their land, their victories, their gold. You're going to read down the line that when Assyria comes back down the first time to go to war with them, all those guys that got money, they got paid off of these acquisitions, guess what the king of Israel made them all do? Give up your money.
Oh my God.
Listen, before Assyria comes and takes us out, all the rich men of Israel, I got to tax you. Y'all get this bread up. Everybody got to come off their pocket if you want to not be a slave. That happened before the slavery happened.
So they gave it up for
So all that money that they had in success, right here, they're gonna lose that money like this. The same concept happened when after Joshua died, and everybody was comfortable and was into their vineyards and making their money and farming their ass off. They would have raiders come in and take their land, to where Israel eventually were living underground. They had all this land up in Israel. And the Most High terrorized them so bad, they were living underground in underground huts like the damn Vietnamese, Viet Cong. Like in those big ass rat holes. I'm not lying.
Hiding in bunkers.
They were hiding in man-made dirt bunkers, wrestling with the rats. Whereas if before they was on top, having badass furniture, Canaanite gold furniture and shit, they had it all.
Showing out.
Yeah, but it was like gold furniture, like badass top-end furniture. They came into a land that was already furnished. And because we got comfortable, we got proud, we didn't want to change, we weren't appreciative, he took it all away. Our blessings turned to curses. That money that they thought was their strength, that came from their ingenuity, they lost it immediately. And before we go too further into the class, this is just the point. Read, did you finish your verse, Jeremiah? Go back to Malachi 2:2 real quick.
That's kind of how the Most High did with how we did with children, parenting with children.
Listen, and they gonna want to listen. Guess what you do? Take that damn video game. You take the video games from them.
Yeah.
They collapse on. You take video games, they collapse.
You think they gonna read a book?
Shit. They gonna go to sleep. They gonna be mad and go to sleep. Then you take that phone, they done, huh? Phones and computer devices, how you take the computer from them? It's over, right? Now that blessing turns to a curse now. That's how you keep people humble. But get Malachi real quick.
Malachi chapter 2 and verse 2. If you will not hear, and if ye will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, saith the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart.
It's already cursed, bro.
And what he's saying with this king is, your land is already done, bro. You think you're gaining land? The land's already took. You don't even know it yet. That's a Rick Ross lyric, guy. Your land is already took. Y'all ain't know it.
Exactly.
It's the truth, right? Your kingdom's already demolished. You don't even know it. It's just 60 years away. You just don't know it yet. But he goes, I'm just giving you a little break from the heat.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? But the crazy part is, we don't even know the Most High is not with us no more. Because we weren't about him in the first place.
That's one.
He wasn't the focus in the first place. I look up, oh man, Most High with me? What is this?
They ain't gonna think, oh, I got braces on me. I'm in jail. I'm walking hundreds of miles to Assyria. What happened? Why is this happening?
Or where did this come from?
Where did this come from?
That's what we say.
Yeah.
It was all good just a week ago.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Reasonable doubt stuff, huh?
Yeah.
That's the spirit right there.
So, once again, the things written aforetime are written for our what?
Learning.
He's showing you how the Most High gradually breaks a nation down, how he gradually breaks mankind down. What he's doing is he's almost lulling them in a false sense of security.
That's the scary part. That's the scary part right here.
He's lulling you, like, okay, I'm giving you a break. I'm not saying I'm acquitting the wicked. He's not going to acquit the wicked. He's just giving them a break.
But that's the scary part. People think that it's all good, and it's really not all good. But they don't know it's not all good.
Mm.
That's scary by itself. Now I'm gonna give you a false sense of security.
Yeah, Obama.
That's scary.
Barack Obama. We got a black president.
That was a
whoopty. You know, we made it now. Yeah, right.
We were crying, but I remember that year.
Everybody get on the bus.
Brothers were crying.
Everybody go to the inauguration.
Israelite brothers was like happy, like Israelite brothers were celebrating. We have a black brother. Like, bro, you're an Israelite brother. Remember this conversation?
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, listen. He said, at least we go get some slack.
You gonna go to D.C.? Man, everybody want to go to D.C.
You get them pardons. Here come them pardons.
And this guy came straight in and said, I'm gonna bail out these big banks. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sit back here and square away these LGBTQ bars.
Not you.
Take care of them.
But we
I
really
ain't taking care of you though.
But listen, there are people crying in the streets. Sisters were crying. Thugs was crying. Real thug, dope slinging, killing, murdering thugs was crying.
Jesse Jackson was crying.
But everybody had this emotional reaction like Christ had saved them.
People say I could die now in peace because I seen something I thought I'd never gonna see in America.
Yeah.
So now I could die peacefully.
That's like all your wishes in life are fulfilled.
Yeah.
But that was a false sense of security. Yes, sir.
I was going to add that Black Lives Matter movement started under his administration.
Yeah.
A black president, so to speak.
Yeah. The nuclear family destructive organization.
How could it start under normal circumstances? How could it start under a so-called black administration?
We're so absent-minded when it comes to the Most High. We don't really consider the Father, bro. It's really insulting to the Most High, bro. How we actually roll as a nation.
Done. So, but you know what? The proof is we've been doing it for multiple generations. So now we're here. Jeroboam is smiling. He's winning. He thinks he's winning. The nation, everything's good. So read. Now we're gonna let that go and go back to 2 Kings 14 and verse 27 again.
Come. 2 Kings chapter 14 and verse 27. And the Most High said, not that he would blot out the name of Israel from under heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam the son of Joash.
So once again, he allowed Jeroboam, really, and his father too, Jehoash. He was a war guy. Jehoash was the warrior that kind of put things in order and backed off Syria and backed off Judah. And then Jeroboam sat back here and obviously whatever his administration did allowed them to expand out their empire, but their wicked deeds didn't change. And he's saying, and the Most High is explaining, I'm letting them flourish to give them a breather. Because I promise I don't want to destroy them completely. I want to give them a breather. I love my children regardless of their jacked up actions. You ever see sometimes, whether it's like your kid might sit back and deserve to get super punished, but you sit back here and give him a little break because you know he needs a little something to keep going. He needs a little something to keep him going. So if you take everything from him, you'll have no reason to keep pushing. I don't know if you noticed that with dealing with kids. Sometimes, I don't know if you've seen a kid who's messed up like 8 times consecutively. And you sit back here like, damn, I'm taking everything from this little nigga's room, man. Listen, I might need to get this nigga one little toy back to give him some hope so that he'll keep doing some better acts after that. I've lived that. I have been in that father dilemma. Like, whether he's got like 7 days in a row of bad behavior, bro. The kid's supposed to get stars, This nigga's getting frowns every day, What am I gonna do about this frown dilemma? What I gotta do to get this guy to do right? I'm whipping his ass. No cookies, no sweets. You ain't getting none of that shit, man.
You going outside?
Sprinkles are for good kids, You ain't getting sprinkles, Listen, you do all that, it don't work. And the kid almost gets used to not having nothing and just keeps being badder and badder,
It is what it is.
I say bad, that's even the wrong choice of words, but that's how he's getting badder and badder, It's supposed to be worse and worse, but this nigga's badder and badder, What do I do about this badness, Okay, let me reevaluate. Let me just give him something real quick. Give him some positive. I tell you, it be like I gave my kid one day a little hookup because he was good half the day
Yeah, give him credit.
I give him credit for half the day goodness And let me give him something for like not being super bad today I don't know what to do. I gotta find something to keep him incrementally trying to change that. That's the best way I can kind of think how the most. I'm looking at it like, man, let me give him something because they ain't changing anyway.
Can you at least do this?
And exactly. Maybe if I give them something, they'll smile at this. It'll be a little more respectful. I've experienced that. I don't know about y'all, but with parenting, but you know what? Sometimes you can be so hard that the hardness just flows off the back. They're immune to the hard conditions. Then you got to kind of throw them off a little bit with some goodness. Let's get some ice cream,
Exactly.
Ice cream?
You don't have no ice cream here.
I got in trouble yesterday. What am I getting ice cream for?
That's true.
I'm telling you.
You gotta give him some hope,
That's my point. That's my point. So we get this. I'm trying to explain how the Most High was trying to look at Israel before he laid and sent the hammer on them. Okay. So read verse 28.
Come. 2 Kings chapter 14 and verse 28. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam and all that he did and his might, how he warred.
So listen, he took after his father Jehoash and was a warrior. Because you ain't getting these pieces of land without fighting for it, bro. But read on.
How he warred and how he recovered Damascus.
Damascus was in where? Syria. So he sat back here. Obviously, Syria was being weakened by Assyria. He was able to flex and get some of the territory of Damascus, which is the capital city of Syria. Read on.
And how he recovered Damascus and Hamath, which belonged to Judah for Israel, Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel?
So don't forget, this was the same time when Amaziah was in power and he was screwing the pooch too. Amaziah was the southern kingdom of Judah's head that just came out of the clink by Jehoash. So they were sitting back here fighting just to rebuild their walls up at that time. Remember, Jehoash came and broke down their walls, took the king, took all their gold and their idols, and brought them up there to the northern kingdom. Point is, so they were reeling from that defeat. So they ended up taking Hamath, which belonged to the children of Judah. They expanded their empire. Judah was low, they were weak. The northern kingdom was high. They had a run. But this was just the prelude to their complete collapse. Read on.
Verse 29. And Jeroboam slept with his fathers, even with the kings of Israel. And Zechariah, his son, reigned in his stead.
Okay, so Zechariah comes by. We're going to take a break real quick on Zechariah. Let's not go on him yet. We're going to go into Josephus and give a little more detail about how wicked Jeroboam was. So we're going to go to Josephus, book 9, chapter 10, paragraph 1. We're going to read 1, 2, and the beginning portion of 3.
Page 259.
The Antiquity of the Jews, book 9, chapter 10, paragraph 1. Says, concerning Jeroboam, king of Israel, and Jonah, the prophet.
We're going to read that paragraph 2 deals with Jonah. We'll run through it real quick just because it's right there in front of us. Read on.
And how after the death of Jeroboam, his son Zechariah took the government, how Uzziah, king of Jerusalem, subdued the nations that were round about him, and what befell him when he attempted to offer incense to the Most High.
Obviously, we're not going to read about Uzziah because Shamshawan did that a few weeks ago. So we're not going to focus on Uzziah. We will go back to Jeroboam. I think it's important. He's the one that kind of symbolizes the beginning of the end, and we're going to focus on Jeroboam and then start bouncing. All right, read on.
In the 15th year of the reign of Amaziah, Jeroboam the son of Joash reigned over Israel in Samaria 40 years. This king was guilty of contumely against the Most High.
What?
Let's look under contumely. Let's look up contumely.
Rudeness.
Yep, let's do it. You got like
Contumely, rudeness or reproach, compounded of haughtiness and contempt, contemptuousness, insolence, contemptuous language.
God. So we talked about how he might have been a warrior, a great man in war scene, but he had a contempt for the Most High. And complete disrespect for serving the Most High. And this is why the Most High, listen, man, I know this guy is out of pocket, but I'm going to sit back here and let them enjoy success for the nation's sake. He's going to look past Jeroboam's obvious disrespect.
Yeah, I like what it says. It says rudeness or reproach compounded with haughtiness. So it's a rudeness,
Wow.
but it's not just I'm rude because I'm raw in my speech. I'm rude on top of the fact that I'm prideful.
Mm-hmm.
So I got both of these elements at the same time, man. I'm rude and I'm cocky.
That's crazy, bro.
Bro, how bad is that, man?
Yeah, that's
hard to even quantify that in like a sentence.
You want to be around this kind of person.
What the hell does that even mean?
That would be a toxic person, man.
Oh, no doubt. It's just hard to quantify that.
Yeah.
Very contumely.
Yeah, that sounds
hit,
awesome.
Doesn't hit hard enough.
It's old English.
Yeah. But that meaning is crazy, though.
Bro.
It's crazy, bro.
It also says insulting display of contempt in words or actions, contemptuous or humiliating treatment.
So listen, he's sitting back here and disrespecting his name.
Yeah.
It's an obvious and blatant spit at the Most High about what he stands for. But see, the Most High is like, this nigga's so out of pocket. He's like, ooh, I want to get these guys right now. I'm gonna give them some time. I'm just gonna build up a Syria, but I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna let this guy run. But I'm gonna give, listen, smile, Israel. and dance in the streets, frolic.
Yeah.
Frolic in these streets, dance and smile. Because I tell you what, in a very short time, it's over. It's all coming down. That's what the Most High is saying. I'm going to give you a little time, man. It's almost like you sit back, you know, your kids at a pocket at school. You see him in the playground hitting kids and shit. Yeah. He's like, you know, I'm going to get his ass when he gets home. Just wait, I'm going to get him. I ain't saying nothing.
You want Chick-fil-A? Yeah, I need some Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. You want that apple juice? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, you got that.
But when we get home, it's over. Cause you know, I can't get you really good here in front of all these kids and these parents out. Cause I'm gonna get a case if I get you in front of these kids out. I'm gonna go to jail.
You say I got something for you.
Because now you thinking about what tools is needed and don't show marks. What tools can I use? Tools, plural, can I use so that when he goes home, when he comes back to school the next day, he might just you know, get himself together for a couple days before I bring him back to school. Maybe I get him on Friday. Listen, if you really want to get somebody, you get beyond the anger. I'm gonna get beyond this anger, and I'm gonna figure out the best way to get this guy. Anyway, what you gonna say?
I was saying my son did that. Yeah, he thought I left Dallas, and I was riding. His mom called me. Said, "Did he tell you so?" Man, we spent the night in a hotel.
He's smiling, hanging out.
He didn't say a word, man. I was like, all right. I turned around, and then I was like, "Hey, man, let's go to school." So we just hanging out at school, get him a little snack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you gotta do what you gotta do. But listen, you don't want to spoil it because if he sees you angry, he gonna run off to his mama.
Let me talk to you, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's cool. You gotta detach all that emotion now and focus it, bro. Focus it at the right time. This is the Most High.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you grab him real firm. Come over here. Come here, man. Come here. We gotta talk. Come over here. You know it's over, right? You know it's over, right? Anyway, I think we get the point of this situation. So the Most High Jeroboam was contumely against the Heavenly Father. Read on.
And became very wicked in worshiping of idols, and in many undertakings that were absurd and foreign.
That's the main problem. When men are out the spirit, they have many absurd undertakings, bro.
It's overboard. It's overboard, flamboyant turn up.
Yeah.
It's like you're way out of pocket, bro. Stop this. Read on.
He was also the cause of 10,000 misfortunes to the people of Israel.
He's like, bro, he's bringing all kind of problems to Israel. He's setting the whole nation up for a big fall. 10,000 misfortunes.
That's crazy.
We know that's not a real number. He's just explaining how he sat back here. His actions, his boldness in his negative, brought so much more. It fed Israel to do that much more wickedness. That's why when you read in the scriptures, it said that he departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. Why did the Most High keep going back to Jeroboam? Because Jeroboam's actions spawned 10,000 more sins into Israel. Think about that. Think of the magnitude of what Jeroboam did, disconnecting the northern kingdom from going down to Jerusalem to follow to sit back and commit the sacrifices, cutting off Israel from doing the Feast of Tabernacles and pushing the feast a month later. Those decisions spawned so much more negative in the nation, bringing the golden calf and saying that was the Most High. That was the first thing, pushing the high place scenario, eliminating the Levitical priest. Those decisions Jeroboam did spawned so much sin down the line.
Which is like,
so he's saying Jeroboam II was comparable in how his decisions spawned so much more negative and wickedness amongst the Israelites. He compared Jeroboam II to Jeroboam I. Jeroboam I utterly corrupted the nation, and so did Jeroboam II. What you gonna say?
No, that's very close to when in Maccabees, Scripture says when Esau came to power, the Greeks came to power, it says evils were multiplied in the earth.
God.
Their laws, their structure opens the door for more wickedness.
Yep.
We're showing this dynamics in Israel also.
So, let's continue.
Con, line 206. Now one, Jonah, a prophet, foretold to him that he should make war with the Syrians and conquer their army and enlarge the bounds of his kingdom on the northern parts to the city Hamath, and on the southern to the lake Asphalatis, I guess. Yeah, kind of. Line 207.
Asphalatis.
Titis.
See?
For the bounds,
Spanish twang to it, man.
for the bounds of the Canaanites originally were these, as Joshua their general had determined them.
Remember I said that he brought the boundaries back to the same boundaries that Joshua had? He sat back here and established the kingdom back to the original boundaries that Joshua had. But once again, he only established it to get them taken back very soon afterwards. Read on.
So Jeroboam made an expedition against the Syrians and overran all their country, as Jonah had foretold.
But they weren't conscious of why was it so easy to overrun these Syrian lands. Syria was getting broken by the Assyrians leading up to Israel taking them down. They just got taken out by a bigger fish. Now this bigger fish is going to take out the medium fish in Israel. Read on.
Paragraph 2. Now I cannot but think it necessary for me.
You know what's crazy? Before we go any further, we're going to read about Jonah. It's almost funny because the Most High promised. Where did Jonah end up going?
Nineveh.
Why was it so important for Nineveh to get dealt with?
Because the Most High had to back Nineveh off the children of Israel. He was buying them time.
He bought them time, and he also, because they repented, right, justified Assyria to go take over Israel. How about that one? Didn't Nineveh repent?
God.
Nineveh repented. So their repentance was like, okay, listen, at least they was humble enough to repent. Did my people repent?
No.
So I'm going to choose these Assyrians who repented to take out these Israelites who didn't ever want to repent in the first place.
Instead of repenting, they were multiplying evils.
So the Most High was using Jonah to sit back and tell Israel everything's going to be okay. And then going and forcing Jonah to go and deal with these barbarian, crazy-ass torture boys, like you were saying, Shamshawan, to pinch them in a position to choose servitude of the Most High over their wicked ways. And they humbled and repented, and we know that they didn't repent and like follow the commandments. But whatever the Most High had them repent to do, it would suffice to say, okay, they repented enough for me to choose them to take over my people. How about that? So we used Jonah to set up both ends for the Most High's will to be done. So let's continue in paragraph 2.
Come. Antiquity of the Jews, book 9, chapter 10, and paragraph 2, page 259. Now I cannot but think it necessary for me, who have promised to give an accurate account of our affairs, to describe the actions of this prophet, so far as I have found them written down in the Hebrew books. Jonah had been commanded by the Most High to go to the kingdom of Nineveh, and when he was there, to publish it in that city, how it should lose the dominion it had over the nations. But he went not out of fear. Nay, he ran away from the Most High to the city of Joppa, and finding a ship there, and he went into it and sailed to Tarsus, to Sicilia.
I'm sorry, Cilicia.
Come.
Cilicia, they were Jews in Cilicia. Okay, read on.
Line 209.
Maybe not yet, but they were going to be. Read on.
And upon the rise of a most terrible storm, which was so great.
Don't forget, Cilicia is in Turkey. But keep going.
Which was so great that the ship was in danger of sinking. The mariners, the master, and the pilot himself made prayers and vows.
It's bad.
Listen for the mariner, which was the sea guys, and the pilots, you know they've been around troubled waters.
Yeah.
I mean, they're used to it. This is their job, bro. They're gonna sit back and start praying to the Lord. I don't know if you ever saw that damn movie. God, it was with George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg. And they were in Boston, and they were getting fish, and these were like experienced vets, and they went to this crazy like
It's like Ida Storm.
it was some Ida Storm. What was it called again? You remember?
It was Storm, man. I know what you're talking about.
It was,
in the middle of a,
yeah, and they were in this crazy ass like storm, man, and they were like sweating bullets out. They're like, "This is it, boss. This is it, huh? Perfect storm. Was it? That was what it was. Yeah, yeah. But these are experienced dudes. Like, this is bad shit right here. We're not making it out of here, right? And this is the same thing with these mariners. Like, man, this is bad. This thing is not just some regular like weather, bro. We're gonna die. This thing's tipping over, and we ain't gonna make it. It's one thing for it to tip over, but for you to not be able to swim through it. Anyway, bro. So this everybody's scared. They know it's their time coming. They praying. Read on.
In case they escaped the sea, but Jonah lay still and covered in the ship without imitating anything that the others did.
He's like, man, I know this is me, man. He knows. He's like, I know I'm in this situation. I'm putting all these guys in a bad spot. It's all my fault.
He's
quiet. He's like this.
He's completely different than everybody else.
Yeah. Nobody understands.
Thinking, he's out the spirit, bro.
He knows, sir.
No, he knows, huh? Kinda. But keep going.
That's scary. Everybody's panicking now. This one guy's just like, what's up with this guy, bro?
God, that's what I'm saying. Shalom, but keep going on.
Line 210. But as the waves grew greater and the sea became more violent by the winds, they suspected, as is usual in such cases, that someone of the persons that sailed with them was the occasion of this storm.
Even these nations know that shit, man. We got some wicked A-Igga. Wicked A-Igga on this ship. Who is it? Is it you?
Yeah.
Is it you been sitting? Who is it? Read on, huh?
And agreed to discover by lot which of them it was.
That's a good one, huh?
Yeah, roll the dice, huh?
Yes, sir.
Snake eyes.
Yeah, it was you. You got number one.
They made movies on this scenario.
Kinda. Read on, huh?
Line 211. When they had cast lots, the lot fell upon the prophet. And when they asked him whence he came and what he had done, he replied that he was an Hebrew by nation and a prophet of Almighty Most High. And he persuaded them to cast them into the sea if they would escape the danger they were in, for that he was the occasion of the storm which was upon them.
It sucks.
Now,
there's so many different lessons. Listen, for those who know better, you can't run from your job. For those of us who know better, you can sit back and try to be all the individual you want. He's not going to let you live peaceably without it. You're not going to have a peaceful life. That's the point. You're not going to have a peaceful life if you're not doing what you know you're supposed to do. In this position, you're supposed to do it. There's no escaping the Most High's will. You're not going to ride off in the sunset and live your life and smile and everything's going to work out right. If you were supposed to teach His Word and commit your life to His Word, and you refuse to do it, He's just going to make life very uncomfortable for you. Very difficult for you. Okay?
Yeah. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26.
God, Damien. Yes. Come into the school, bro, and get the teaching. We'll keep going on.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 26. For if we sin willfully,
because Jonah knew the Most High's instruction, but he willfully chose not to follow it. So he made a decision, and he was going to live with that decision. Read.
For if we sin willfully,
go ahead.
After that we have received the knowledge of the truth,
which he was given instruction, and he went opposite of it. Go ahead.
There remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
Read on. And this is where Jonah. This is what Jonah understood. Read on.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment.
He said, but a certain fearful looking of judgment, which is what? Today we call that what? Paranoia. That's so when you know that the Most High is not with you, then your own conscience starts to cut on you, and you understand that it's only a matter of time before the Most High brings the hammer down. And we know that, and a lot of people know that, because that's the spirit that the Most High put on men, so that they understand that they've been in violation of the Most High's words and His instructions. Now I'm paranoid. Now I'm looking to know somebody. I know I did something wrong, so I know the hammer is about to come from somewhere. I just don't know where it's coming from. A lot of us will tell ourselves, well, whatever the Most High does, I just hope He gets it over with quick.
Shit. That means you ain't getting it then, if that's what you want.
Yeah, because it's worse. You know, you watch that Steven Seagal movie? When,
the anticipation of death.
Yeah, the anticipation
is worse
of death,
than death itself.
It's worse than death itself.
I'm sorry, that's supposed to be.
Yeah. He put that on the toilet seat.
Yeah.
Was running.
That made the guy super nervous.
It made him more scared.
I think it was marked for death. Wasn't
it? So you know, it's worse. It's worse when you don't know where the hammer's gonna come from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You rather just, like a kid, just whoop me now. You know what I'm saying? To save it for later. But he said that's the spirit that the Most High got out there. When you know you've been in violation, you know that paranoia is the Most High's gonna get me. I just don't know when. I don't know when, and I don't know where it's gonna come from. Read on.
Yeah.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised.
That's it. So he's showing that that's what happens when we get out of pocket, man. We know it's gonna come. We just don't know where it's coming from. And so Jonah knew it was him. He knew his conscience had to have let him know, man, I'm the one. He even said it out of his own mouth. It's me. It was me. Because he knew. Because when you know you're wrong, nobody has to tell you you're wrong. You know, you just waste people's time sitting back in a cut, not acknowledging it or confessing it, that I'm the cause of these issues.
Listen, prophets rebel too, man.
Yeah.
Men that are chosen and the Most High rebel too. Sometimes they don't listen to what they were told to. I'm going to keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's the truth. Because a lot of times we waste time just pretending like it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
You know damn well you guilty. You know damn well you're at fault. You know damn well the Most High it has His eyes on you. But what we'll do is pretend, because ain't nobody else see me do wrong.
Captain.
Yeah. It wasn't me. I'll just wait till I'll wait till the Most High makes it evident that I'm the one that's out of pocket. So I'll pretend it's business as usual. But a lot of times,
that's a real one.
We pretend like it's business as usual, but nobody has to tell us until something bad happens, and then when you get strange calamities, then it's like, damn, brother, you lost your wallet, you got a car wreck, you did this happened. Why did Most High let this happen to you?
I know.
It was me. I probably know.
I think I know what it is.
I know what it is.
I know what it is, huh?
Everybody know what it is, huh? But sometimes we gotta pretend like it ain't us. Huh? And that's the game that Jonah's playing, riding on that ship, knowing damn well it's him. These guys are shaking dice, drawing straws.
My thing is, why'd you have to go to Turkey? Why couldn't you just stay in Israel and not do it? Why'd you have to go all the way to damn Turkey? Like the Most High don't see you?
Like he don't live over there.
If I leave the Northern Kingdom, the Most High ain't gonna see.
Yeah, he gonna
let it go. That's crazy talk,
He's not gonna bother with me over there.
Yeah, I'm in Turkey. I'm chilling in Cilicia.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some Cilicia eggs. See, I know it tastes better over there anyway.
That's what we do, man.
I'm sorry.
No, you can let that go. That's just that's a mind frame that we get into.
Yeah.
Jonah has to know, which he revealed it out of in his story. He knows it's him out, and all you're doing is wrestling. When you know you're guilty, but you don't want to say nothing, you just sitting there wrestling with them thoughts.
Now you're putting people in danger.
Yep.
In general, the longer you don't fight your battle, the people you surround yourself around are now in danger of having to go through changes because of you.
The pawns of the suffering.
I know. Guilt by association.
Yep.
But let's continue. I don't want to make it just about this point. This chapter is just something we're going through. You know what I mean? Let's keep going.
Antiquity of the Jews. Book 9,
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Well, I did have a question.
Sorry.
I was always wondering about this verse. Is Jonah's situation symbolic for Ecclesiastes 33:2, when it says that the wise man hateth not the law, but he that is an hypocrite therein is as a ship in a storm?
I wouldn't use it as it's a direct connection, because a hypocrite is just a person who's tossed to and fro. And a hypocrite is that person who just operates in the capacity that he needs to get by. So I'll sit back here and be this way to make this person happy. I'll be this way to make this person happy. But that's a person who keeps switching up versus just sticking to your standard of who you are as a man in Christ. If I sit back here and I have integrity, then I'm not switching up for anybody. Because the scriptures and my belief system keeps me anchored. The hypocrite is just a big chameleon. I'm just going to talk about and be about the things you say you're about. And when I'm with somebody else, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna act like the things that you value matter. And then around somebody else, I'm gonna act like the things that they like matter. That's the hypocrite. The hypocrite is a play actor.
They become a play actor, or they become a politician.
Kind of.
But is Jonah also a hypocrite? Like, if he knows his responsibility, but if he's still teaching the Most High, but he's not following it himself?
I would say more than a hypocrite, he's just rebellious.
Yes, he's a rebellious. Don't forget, nobody knew he was a prophet of the Most High, so what was he teaching in that boat? He said, man, I'm a Hebrew. I'm a teacher. I'm screwing up. He wasn't telling nobody. He was walking around like with a cloth over his head. You can tell he was an incognito. He was covered like this. He was hiding that. That's not what he was hiding at. And the only reason he even confessed what he was is because he knew everybody was about to die.
Yeah, it's like when you wear sunshades at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you got the damn lokes on at night.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, what are you hiding now?
You're off.
Why you hide your eyes?
Yes. So that's the thing. Okay. So let's continue.
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 9 and Chapter 10, Paragraph 2. We're in page 260. It says, now at the first they durst not do so, as esteeming it a wicked thing to cast a man who was a stranger, who had committed his life.
They felt guilty. Everybody be feeling guilty for the negative man, for the bad man, for the sad man out.
Yeah.
For the bad.
Yeah, they do that.
They feeling bad for him out. They don't know what he's doing.
Because they don't understand how he's in violation.
Yes.
Kinda.
And they were just trying to be respectful, man. You don't do that to a person.
Yeah.
But keep going now.
It says, as esteeming it a wicked thing to cast a man who was a stranger and who had committed his life to them into such manifest perdition.
They were honorable men. Read on.
But at last, when their misfortunes overbore them,
It was like, listen, man, this boat's going like this, B. This shit is not cool. It's not this little water on my face, everybody's falling. It's bad. I don't know if you ever saw.
Boxes are falling.
I'm telling you, when I think of bad ship stories, I think about this movie called All Is Lost. It's one of the scariest, most depressing, it was a bad movie. Listen, there was no talking in it. There was no words. It was just Robert Redford on a boat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the boat just started having leaks. And bad shit started happening. He started going through all the proper checklists of how to navigate through this. And I'm telling you, if you watch it, it was so scary. I'm like, why is this movie so damn scary? Yeah. I'm like, why is this movie so scary? There's no suspenseful music. There was no music, no talking. You're just watching this guy's life just evaporate in your life out, in your eyes out. What's that? It was dramatically declining, and it wasn't his fault. It was most like you gotta die today, bro. You gotta die in these few days. This is your last nautical trip. And just watching the deterioration was so scary. Like, what would you do in this situation? Ah! You gonna do something? You gonna yell? You gonna say, Father, please? Because there's no way out. He was shooting flares. He had no other options. Man, I'm bringing it back to the boat was the water was just overcoming the boat. He had to get off the boat. Water was like at his waist. He had to take everything of his value and importance off the boat and put it on the raft. He was on his raft, bro. He was like a sunburn. He was no water to drink, bro. It was bad. He might have had some beans or some shit like that. He had some bullshit beans, no water, and he was suffering. It was the worst experience. So when this boat is about to turn overboard, they're like, okay, you gotta go, man. All this moral shit is like, you gotta go, man. We're trying to be nice guys, but this water's up to here, bro. You gotta go.
You know, it shows also that ancient men knew that nothing happened mysteriously. That there was no like freak of nature. It's not just a freak of nature. This is above normal. Like
that's the point. That's why it was so scary. This was not just a storm. This was biblical. This is the Most High. It's crazy. Continue.
But at last, when their misfortunes overbore them, and the ship was going to be drowned, and when they were animated to do it by the prophet himself, and by the fear concerning their own safety, they cast him into the sea, upon which the sea became calm.
See?
Shit out. Go, keep going.
It is also related that Jonah was swallowed down by a whale, and that when he had been there 3 days and as many nights,
that's brutal.
He was vomited out upon you King Sea.
Now the people didn't know.
Exile sea.
The people didn't know that Jonah survived. They just saw this man get thrown over, and then a big sea
big animal
came out. This like, wow, what did this guy do?
Never mind. Like, he angered the gods.
He angered Zeus. Zeus is displeased. Poseidon is displeased.
Poseidon.
That's a hell of a day. And they went home. They didn't get to read the story about Jonah. Got spit out 3 days later.
They took a couple weeks off.
They went home and said,
the shipping industry, the sea industry. We're gonna take some breaks off from being a mariner. I need some time to digest.
You know they say,
we take a vacation. I'm on land for a little bit, B.
You know how they say we got a cursed man amongst us.
Yes.
He's a cursed man.
Golly.
That is crazy, bro. They went home with that one, bro.
Listen, they getting closer to the God tight situation. That's what it was. But let's continue.
He was vomited out upon the Euxine Sea, and this alive, and without any hurt upon his body.
No, my question is this: you said he was vomited on the sea?
Vomited out of the sea. So he was vomited out near the shore, probably. Read on.
And it says, and there, on his prayer to the Most High, he obtained pardon for his sins, and went to the city Nineveh, where he stood so as to be heard, and preached that in a very little time they should lose the dominion of Asia.
You said the Most High has a little mercy when you acknowledge your sins, though?
Yeah.
Israel would be mad the Most High don't have mercy on them, but they don't admit their sins either.
Mm-hmm. But keep going.
And when he had published this, he returned. Now, I have given this account about him as I found it written in our books.
Let's continue.
Paragraph 3. When Jeroboam, the king, had passed his life in great happiness.
So listen, Jeroboam's smiling now, even though he destroyed so many people's lives. Even though he further corrupted many people's lives. He was smiling, he was rich, he was wealthy. His nation expanded over his reign. Read on.
And had ruled 40 years, he died and was buried in Samaria, and his son Zechariah took the kingdom.
Now we're going to hold that, and we're going to now go back to, let's see. We're going back now to 2 Kings chapter 15, verse 1 through 7.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse 1 through 7.
Okay.
In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, began Azariah, son of Amaziah, king of Judah, to reign.
Now we know Azariah, that's the one who is Uzziah. That's Uzziah. Continue.
Verse 2. 16 years old was he when he began to reign. And he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jecholiah of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, according to all that his father Amaziah had done.
Okay.
Save that the high places were not removed.
You know about those damn high places, hopefully, from classes.
Yeah.
The high places were not removed because Uzziah didn't take the time to break down those structures and eliminate a place for the people that were about those high places to shine and thrive. That's what the Most High was trying to do. You can't make anybody lock into the established order. You can't make anybody sit back here and sacrifice at the temple. But what you could do is break down their altars. What you could do is not allow an arena for them to thrive next to your arena.
In your domain.
In your domain. And that's what the Most High was expecting all the kings to do. Once we get to King Hezekiah, you're going to see Hezekiah and Josiah had the same template. They didn't allow Israelites to be individuals in their land. You might not have went to Jerusalem to do the actual offering, but you weren't going to sit back here and be in their territory doing this shit on your own. Amaziah and all the other kings let them go, whether it's to their housetops, mountains that are nearby. They eliminated all those spots. That's what made good kings great and okay kings average. Okay? Let's continue.
Verse 4 from the top. Save that the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed and burnt incense still on the high places.
There you go. They were being individuals. Read on.
And the Most High smote the king, that he was a leper unto the day of his death.
And Second Chronicles goes into more detail. We're not going to do it now. We're just going to go through the stories and get us back into the track of the northern kingdom. Read on.
And dwelt in a several house.
Meaning a house outside. The several house means a house outside of the house near the temple. I'm going to show online real quick. Not this one.
Like severed from the rest of
just away from where the king's house is. You can sit back and look at
severed.
But it's severed just means separate. If you look at the image online, you'll see the temple, and then you'll see the palace, which is right below the temple. This is where the kings would be. So if Uzziah was in a several place, he was away from this palace, somewhere maybe down towards the bottom of where Israel was operating at.
And by law, when someone is a leopard, they got to be outside the camp.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be amongst the camp.
Unclean.
They're unclean.
So he's probably out of Jerusalem in general.
Outside that outer wall.
Yep. So this is how the land was. This area was before everything was renovated. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's the temple, and that's the king's house. So he was out here somewhere, man.
Yeah, he had to be outside.
Out here in the streets out. He couldn't be allowed inside. That's not how, you can't do that. So that's what's going on that end. Okay, so let's continue. Verse 5 again.
Yes, sir. And the Most High smote the king, so that he was a leper unto the day of his death, and dwelt in a several house. And Jotham, the king's son, was over the house, judging the people of the land.
So obviously Jotham was had to be brought up earlier than normal to perform the duties of the king while his father was in exile. So the father was still a king. He was just relaying information to his son, and the son was executing the orders. That's how the end of Uzziah's reign was. He was still running it, but just from a distance. Read verse 6.
And the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Jotham his son reigned in his stead.
Now we're going to read from verse 8 through 12. It's about that time. Nagaha, can you continue?
Nagaha, Shah Shabbatah, Ban Shemai 1, Ban Yasha Allah.
Nagaha, Shah Shabbatah, Ban Shemai 1, Ban Yasha Allah. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham. What, verse 7?
Yeah, no, verse 8. Verse 8 through 12.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse 8. In the 38th year of Azariah king of Judah, did Zechariah the son of Jeroboam reign over Israel in Samaria 6 months.
Listen, that was not long, bro. Zechariah reigned 6 months after his father Jeroboam the second reign. Read on.
Verse 9. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High.
In a short stint.
And also Zechariah was that fourth generation that the Most High promised to Jehu that would sit on the throne. So he was that last king allotted to sit on the throne that came from Jehu's lineage.
No doubt we're going to hit that up very soon. Read on.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High, as his fathers had done. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Shalom, the son of Jabesh, conspired against him and smote him before the people.
Now listen, now we have these coups kicking in. They said this dude was so bold that he killed him in front of the people. Nobody did anything about it.
Wow.
He had a whole track record of people watching him. Witnesses.
They must not have a problem with what he did.
That's the point. There was a bunch of witnesses and nobody sat back here and demanded justice. Read on.
And smote him before the people and slew him and reigned in his stead.
Listen, that's letting you know, man, whoever got the power, take it. Because nobody's tripping. Nobody tripped on this guy. Got killed in cold blood in front of everybody.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It really is. Read on.
And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold. And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel.
Man, he 6 months wasn't. What are you gonna do in 6 months? Just party? Read on.
This was the word of the Most High, which he spake unto Jehu, saying, Thy sons shall sit on the throne of Israel unto the 4th generation. And so it came to pass.
And that's it. Mosai gave him. Mosai's a man of his word. He gave Jehu 4 generations. You know what's crazy? This is crazy because did Jehu? Let's go here real quick. Go to 2 Kings chapter 10. 2 Kings chapter 10, verse 30 through 34.
Okay. 2 Kings chapter 10, verse 30. And the Most High said unto Jehu, Because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in mine heart, thy children of the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of Israel. But Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Most High power of Israel with all his heart, for he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. In those days the Most High began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them in all the coasts of Israel.
Now, before we go any further, this verse proves what we talked about in 2 Kings chapter 15. But what I'm going into is that the Most High gave Jehu 4 generations of sons to rule on the throne just because he followed one order. Look at the expectations the Most High had on Jonah. Then when he sat back and went against one of those orders, how hard the Most High was on him. And then how the Most High rewarded Jehu with 4 generations of sons in power just because he killed Ahab and all those descendants. What does this show about the Most High? What it shows is the Most High measures each individual servant differently.
Wow. So.
And when I mean differently, based off what their abilities are, their capabilities, their listen, Jehu, the way the Most High looked at Jehu, all he was going to be is a warrior and a killer. So because you followed that order to take out Ahab, and those family lines, I'm gonna bless you with those generations. The next verse after verse 30, it said, but Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Most High. It isn't like he got rewarded and he started serving the Most High. He gave him 4 generations of sons because he followed one order.
But it shows that the Most High. It shows the Most High is very fair with how he assesses men.
That was what I was going to say.
Beautiful.
He assesses men based off of where they're at and what their capabilities are. So, we can't sit back here and say the Most High is not what?
Fair.
Fair and just. He's going to give everybody what they can handle. He's going to bless everybody based upon what they're capable of doing.
According to their several abilities. And what's so crazy is, I'm going to take over this point. I was just saying is that this concept completely contrasts how we look at each other. We be like, Lord God gave him this, gave him that, gave him this. I should the Most High too. The Most High has them in this situation. Why not me? That why not me spirit and comparing ourselves to other people's situations plagues Israel because we all think we're on the same level. Not saying we're better than each other. So we all think that we're on the same exact scale. We're getting measured the same exact way with the Father. The Most High individually is assessing us, and individually is grading us based upon our offerings to Him, based off what He puts in our spirit. So that negates and that kills my reason of saying, well, I don't think he deserves a blessing. I don't think he deserves it. I don't think he should have that. I don't see the Most High gave him this. I don't see the Most High gave him that. I don't see that they're in this situation. Brother, you don't know what the measure the Most High has for this person.
Okay.
This goes against that whole idea that we roll.
I know. The Most High gives to everybody based off what they can handle and their capabilities. He looked at Jehu and said, this is the best he can do right now, so I'm going to bless him based off of what he can do.
Like the child you were bringing up earlier.
Yes.
Like the son. Like the good parent.
Because he didn't deal with Judah that way. He didn't deal with the southern kingdom the way he's dealing with northern kingdom. He wasn't rewarding Judah for like the sin they were doing. He was immediately stinging Judah for their wickedness. One king is negative, boom, I'm bringing Edom on him. Bring him Moab on him. I'm bringing Syria on him immediately.
Quickly.
9.5 below. You know what, bro? Let me expand that land, bro. I don't know what to say. I'm going to give him some time.
He said the servant that knew his Lord's will was beaten with many stripes.
Exactly.
But the one that didn't know his Lord's will was beaten with few stripes. So the Most High plagues or punishes somebody or deals with somebody based upon how much of the knowledge and expectation that they have and they possess. So if you know more, if you're more accountable, more has been put into you, then the demand is higher.
Yep. And the
expectation is greater. It's like you whoop a young kid because he did something bad, but you whoop the older brother because he knew better. He was standing there.
Yep.
Yeah. You whoop you get a whooping because you let him do it. Because you was there. You know my standard. You know that's not acceptable, but you watched him do it.
You riled him up.
Yeah.
You egged him on, and then when he sits back and turns up, now he did it.
He did it. Yeah.
You hyped him up.
Yeah, because you got more knowledge.
Okay.
So the Most High bases a lot of punishments and blessings based upon knowledge. And did you execute that judgment? Because you read about you're able to see how, and on that point, you're able to see how the Most High dealt with Saul. Saul made a mistake. He didn't listen to the Most High's judgment. Killing all of the Amalekites. David made a mistake, and the Most High had mercy on him. But when you look at why that is, David's heart was more often attached to the Most High more than Solomon. Okay. And Saul cared more about losing a position than he had an actual attachment to the Most High.
That's true.
He didn't care. Saul so much didn't care about his relationship with the Most High as much as David did. And he didn't confess. Saul didn't confess it right away, only until he saw what he was losing. And then once he was seeing what he was losing, then he was able to say, oh, Lord, I made a mistake. But some people only care about what they're losing for them to be convicted about what they do wrong. Versus David, once it was shown to him that, listen, you were in violation, he immediately repented immediately and then confessed his issues. You know what I'm saying? So It's all based upon a man's knowledge and his relationship with the Father. You know, to determine how the Most High is going to pass judgment on that. That's crazy.
So let's read verse
33.
33.
2 Kings 10 and 33. From Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, the Gadites and the Reubenites and the Manassites, from Aroer, which is by the river Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan.
We talked about it earlier, how Hazael, I said Ben-Hadad, but it was Hazael. Hazael was the guy under Ben-Hadad. The point is, he took over all of Gilead. Let me get that map again. All of Gilead, which is Manasseh, Gad, and Reuben, he took that whole land up and conquered it, and he took that land. Read on.
Verse 34. Now the rest of the acts of Jehu and all that he did and all his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel?
But at that point, he said in 33 or 32, he said he began to cut Israel short.
Yep.
So you look at these kings, their rulership is starting to diminish. They're not getting 20 years. They're not getting 40 years. They're not getting 30 years of rulership.
Mm-hmm.
He got 6 months.
It's that he's cutting it short, and he's cutting their time and power in general short. He's like, man, they're not going to be in my land for much longer. I got to get these guys out. But the Most High is like, he's like, at this time he decided he's done with them. But also, even though he decided he's done with them, he still had compassion enough with them during different stints to still buy him time. It's just a different perspective of how he looked at them versus how he was looking at Judah for a period of time. Get what I'm saying? He had a higher expectation for Judah, so he was quicker to be harder on him. 9.5, he's like, man, I'm ready to move on from him, but I'm gonna give him a little more time. I'm extending the time just a little bit longer because I feel bad for him. Yes,
If I could add this, I think it's also an indicator. Like when you think about the Deuteronomy 4, 5, and 6, the nations are looking at us. Mm-hmm. They're watching. We're not doing it because they're watching, but also they're watching. They're also watching the caliber and the way things are being ran, and it also lets them know these guys are tripping and they're getting weak. There's something going on here. They're vulnerable.
Well, and we also read in Esther chapter. Is it Esther? No, it's not Esther. It's Judah. In Judah chapter 5, the nations knew that if the Israelites were not following the law, they were susceptible to being destroyed. They were getting all this intel during these times and periods of time.
Moab in particular at that time.
Yep. The nations realized that if they weren't following the law,
you're watching.
They were sitting back and they were susceptible. So they're saying is, oh, they're following the gods now. They're following their idols. We can take them. They're dealing with idolatry. We can take them. Now that story in Judah 5 came after this particular time. So I think during this time they were gathering this intel on us and figuring it out. So by the time we got to Judah 5, they had an idea of how to deal with this.
They knew that to keep us weak was just to keep us in sin.
Yep.
As long as we're in sin, we're vulnerable. We're weak. We're disconnected from the Most High.
Yep. As long as we're in sin, now we're infighting.
Yep. Now
we're striving for power, because that's what you're going to read now after this guy Shalom. This nigga's name is Peace. And he's sitting back here murking people in the city right in front of everybody. My name is Peace.
Yeah.
Now there's infighting. It's crazy.
He brought his peace with him.
Yeah, I'm going to grab my peace. Peace, my brother, peace. But that's my point. He's bringing his peace, shaking dudes in front of everybody in the land. Now the coups are going on. Now the infighting is coming in. So on top of the fact that they're not serving the Most High, now they're infighting. So that's a perfect setup for a foreign nation to come invade.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let that go. Let's go back to 2 Kings chapter 15 and verse 10.
2 Kings chapter 15 verse 10. And Shallum the son of Jabesh conspired against him, and smote him before the people, and slew him, and reigned in his stead.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. This was the word of the Most High, which he spake unto Jehu, saying, Thy sons shall sit on the throne of Israel unto the 4th generation. And so it came to pass.
So let's go to verse. We're gonna go to from verse 13 to verse 18 now. So we're gonna keep going. Is what I'm saying.
Verse 13. Shallum, the son of Jabesh, began to reign in the 39th year of Uzziah, king of Judah, and he reigned a full month in Samaria.
Listen, a month? You see how the shifting of power is just going from one guy to another? Is it 60 days, 180 days? Now it's 30 days, bro?
Yeah.
Read on.
You ain't even got fitted for your new king outfit.
The Royal Taylor.
Your garments ain't ready yet.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like a size.
15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, give me a 17 on the neck.
Yeah, 17 days.
Give me a 44 on the chest.
So they had men in the gym to the king crown out, and they ain't made it smaller for the head.
Time's up.
Like a 34 on the inseam.
That's hilarious. That's horrible. And they listen. The suit came in here, like I said, from the cleaners. They ain't came in from the cleaners. But keep going out.
Verse 14.
It's crazy.
But Menahem, the son of Gadi, went up from Tirzah and came to Samaria and smote Shallum, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria, and slew him and reigned in his stead.
At this point, it's just whoever wants to take the kingdom. No royal family, no nothing. So it says Shalom got in the wrong way. Now you got Menahem coming in the wrong way. Read on.
And the rest of the acts of Shallum and his conspiracy which he made, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. Then Menahem smote Tiphsah, and all that were therein, and the coast thereof from Tirzah, because they opened not to him.
So he says, Menahem smote Tiphsah, which was a city around the coast of Tirzah. This is what they're saying. And he says, because Menahem came to this city, and they weren't quick to acknowledge him as the king, his response was to wipe the entire city out. Okay? So he says, because they opened not to him, they didn't open the gates to him. Because they didn't open the gates immediate to him that said, I'm the new king. And how would they know? That just happened.
Wow.
Read on.
Because they opened not to him, therefore he smote it. And all the women therein that were with child, he ripped up.
Think about this. He sat back and was a barbarian. He killed pregnant women and their children.
It's in Israel.
This is in Israel to Israel people. Yes.
If you can read, go back a couple chapters, go to 2 Kings chapter 8, verse 12 too.
2 Kings chapter 8, verse 12. And Hazael said, why weepeth my Lord?
And he was talking to Elisha.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Elisha anointed him. Read on.
And he answered, because I know the evil that thou would do unto the children of Israel.
Read on.
Their strongholds wilt thou set on fire.
Yep.
And their young men wilt thou slay with the sword.
Go ahead.
And will dash their children and rip up their women with child.
And this is another reason why Elisha was crying, because Elisha was able to see all that evil that was going to be multiplying amongst the kings and those that came after them. That was one of the reasons why he was crying so hard.
And the sad thing is he's talking to Hazael, the Syrian guy that's going to be the king.
Right.
This is an Israelite ripping up his own people's stomachs.
Yep.
This is crazy. But keep going. You're right, Shimon.
Yeah, you can let that go. Go back to where it was at now. 2 Kings 15.
15 and 16. Read it from the top.
2 Kings 15 and 16. Then Menahem smote Tiphsah, and all that were therein, and the coast thereof from Tirzah, because they opened not to him. Therefore he smote it. And all the women therein that were with child, he ripped up.
Let me make sure that Tirzah is Israel. I just want to make sure, because it says around the coast from Tirzah. Tiphsah and all the people from the coast of Tirzah. And a lot of times the people in the coastal cities on the west, they could have been Canaanites.
Samaria?
Let me see. Let me give me a half a second. Let me see. Numbers 26.
Isaiah 13, 16. Yeah. I have Hosea 13 and 16.
No, that's Israel. Those are Zebulonites. Read Numbers 26 and 27. Numbers 26 and 27. These are Zebulun that they killed off that were from the coastal cities.
Numbers 26 and 27. These are the families of the Zebulunites, according to those that were numbered of them, 3,500.
Jump to verse 33.
Verse 33. And Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, had no sons but daughters. And the names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mahlah and Noah, Haglah, Milcah, and Tirzah.
That could be it. Let me make sure. Let me see something then.
You see Hosea 13 and 16?
1 second. These what is it again? Hosea, what's it?
13 and 16. I mean, it's
that could be it. That could be proven that. See, that's Samaria too.
yeah.
So listen, the dashing of babies and children, that's a normal thing. like Shemshon pulled Hazael. Hazael was going to be the emperor of Syria. So they were sitting back here and dashing children and killing pregnant women. And when the Assyrians come and take us out, they went down to Samaria, the capital city, and did the same thing. Tirzah is a little bit further north. That's my point. What was you going to say?
Well, in 17 it says he reigned 10 years in Samaria.
Where are you at? Well, yeah, but that's you mean the 2 Kings 15?
Yeah, 15.
But he's doing this near Tirzah. It's another city away from Samaria. I'm just trying to find specifically. I can't find it. I don't have the time. But I think that Menahem was killing Israelite children. That was the whole point. But if we're going to find it, maybe do some research. We need to find the city of Tipsha or Tipsah that was near the coast of Tirzah. And I don't think I can find Tirzah on any of these maps. And that's why I'm kind of that's what I was kind of looking for.
Tipsha?
T-I-P H-S-A-H. And that's what I was kind of trying to find. But it's really not that serious. I just think from reading this, he was sitting back here and destroying Israelite women and children. Okay.
To the west of the bank.
So, 1 Kings 4 and 24.
1 Kings what?
4 and 24.
What's it say?
It says, for he had dominion over all the region on this side of the river, from Tifsah even to Azza, over all the kings on this side of the river. Talking about Jordan, right?
Let me read that.
And he had peace on all sides.
You said 1 Kings what?
1 Kings 4 and 24. It just kind of mentions it. I just kind of typed
It's
it
a
up.
Solomon, okay.
As far as Tifsah and what you're talking about, like in its location.
I got Tirzah being. It says Tirzah was a Canaanite city, later capital of northern kingdom of Israel.
God, so it's part of Israel.
It says a place in Palestine.
Tipsah or Tirzah?
Tirzah.
Okay, so that's okay. So it is Israel then.
God.
Okay, we're gonna say it's Israel then. All right. So and then what you were reading in 1 Kings was Solomon's dominion, right?
God.
So it's Israel.
Early in Kings, God.
Then we got it. So let's read verse 16 again. 2 Kings 15 and 16.
2 Kings 15 and 16. Then Menahem smote Tiphsah and all that were therein, and the coast thereof from Tirzah, because they opened not to him. Therefore he smote it, and all the women therein that were with child he ripped up. In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, began Menahem, the son of Gadi, to reign over Israel, and reigned 10 years in Samaria.
When you read Samaria, that's just the place where he took and decided to make his capital city at. Northeast. Okay, northeast limit. Perfect. So read that out. You might as well read it. So I'm sure.
Yeah. Tipsah, a place at the northeast limit of Solomon's empire, located on the Euphrates River.
There we go.
So it was a border that the river bordered the Solomon's empire.
And it was Euphrates, right?
It was Euphrates. So it's up close
further,
to
closer to Syria
closer
then.
to Assyria.
Not Jordan.
So you know what that is also? You know what that
Euphrates,
probably is? And what that is near Manasseh, Manasseh's land.
It's up. Yeah, it'll be up.
It's
here.
up there, yeah. Because what we're going to read as we continue to go down and we deal with Tiglath-Pileser, you're going to start seeing the nations he starts taking out and wiping out when he comes into power. So that was near Manasseh then. Those were Manasseh he was killing. Yes, so because obviously if it's the northeast tip, that's beyond Dan. That's beyond Dan. That's northeast. Okay. So let's continue, sir.
Oh, okay. Verse 17. In the 39th year of
No. Where were you at? I'm so sorry. Where are you at, sir?
2 Kings 15 and 17.
Yes, continue, sir. We're going to stop at 18.
Okay. In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, began Menahem, the son of Gadi, to reign over Israel, and reigned 10 years in Samaria. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High. He departed not all his days from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin.
Okay, so now we're going to go to Josephus. Book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 1 through 1.5. So we're going to go midway through to explain this situation. We're going to go from Zechariah until we get to Menahem. Okay.
Josephus, book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 1, page 261, line 228.
Okay.
Now when Zechariah the son of Jeroboam had reigned 6 months over Israel, he was slain by the treachery of a certain friend of his.
It was a friend too.
Yeah.
That's how it always happens.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's crazy. Slain by a friend. Read on.
Whose name was
The
Shalom,
peaceable friend. It's bad. Read on.
the son of Jabesh, who took the kingdom afterward, but
He
kept
wanted it. He wanted something, man.
Bad. Read on.
but kept it no longer than 30 days. For Menahem, the general of his army,
So the Menahem was the general of Shalom's army. So listen, he saw the weakness in Shalom and took out Shalom. Read on.
the general of his army, who was at that time in the city Tirzah, and heard of what had befallen Zechariah, removed thereupon with all his forces to Samaria, and joining battle with Shalom, slew him, and when he had made himself king, he went thence.
Stop. Sounds crazy. No, you did something wrong with what you did. So he's like, he heard what was happening, how Shalom killed Zechariah, and he hurried and made his way down to Samaria and went to go kill Shalom. You read the way he went to go kill his leader. As soon as he heard that the leader took out the king. So he had no desire to be up under Shalom in the kingdom. He said, I'm gonna go down and take the guy that took the guy out. This is my opportunity. And he says, so he went to war with the army that Shalom already had down there in Samaria. His forces obviously were split. He brought his forces from up north to the further northeast part of Israel and came down to take out this dude. Read on.
Slew him. Or do you want me to read it again?
No, you're good.
Okay. Slew him, and when he had made himself king, he went thence and came to the city Tirzah. But the citizens that were in it shut their gates and barred them against the king, and would not admit him. But in order to be avenged on them, he burnt the country round about it, and took the city by force upon a siege. And being very much displeased at what the inhabitants of Tirzah had done, he slew them all, and spared not so much as the infants, without omitting the utmost instances of cruelty and barbarity. For he used such severity upon his own countrymen.
That's the answer to the question. It was his own people. Read on.
As would not be pardonable with regard to strangers who had been conquered by him.
He said, you don't even supposed to do this to strangers. You ain't supposed to take pregnant women and their children and then killing them. You ain't supposed to do that to even your enemies. He did it to your people.
showing you how barbarous the Spaniards were to the 9.5 tribes when they arrived in the Americas.
You don't do that to your worst enemy,
because that you can find them you can find that history in that Bartholomew de las Casas, how it was common for the Spaniards to rip up the pregnant women of all the Central and South America. As soon as they got upon them, they split their bellies open, and then they would feed the babies, the infants, to the dogs.
Yep.
And then the little toddlers, they take the little toddlers and dash their brains against the stones, against the rocks. They grab them by their feet. They grab the toddlers by their feet and then sling the babies, the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds, the 1-year-olds. They sling their head against the rocks, bash them against the rocks. So you can read that in Bartholomew de las Casas, and you could also read that in Conquest of America. How, so it just show you how. Oh, you brought it with you? You got it with you?
Yeah.
You got a piece of it? You got it? You got that part section out?
Yeah, I ain't highlighted yet. I just looking at
Look
it.
at that.
There's a Bartholomew de las Casas.
Okay.
See if I can find it real quick.
My bad, I ain't highlighted.
No, you're good.
Yeah. I know if you haven't the cruelties of the Spaniards. Let me see. I know it said the Spaniards first assaulted the innocent sheep, so qualified by the Almighty, as is pre-mentioned, like most cruel tigers, wolves, lions, hunger-starved, studying nothing. Let me see if we can pull out, because it gives you, it says, for the space of 40 years after their first landing, but the massacre of these wretches whom they have so inhumanely and barbarously butchered and harassed with several kinds of torments never before known or heard of, which you shall have some account in the following discourse, that of 3 million persons which lived in Hispaniola. So this was in Hispaniola when they first landed, Cuba. They said they knocked off 3 million immediately. As soon as they touched down, as soon as the Spaniards got there, they went to killing for 40 years straight. So I don't know exactly where it is in here, because you haven't marked it yet. But you'll read it in this book right here called A Brief Account of the Destructions of the Indies, and it'll show you how they was dashing the kids against the stones. They would lynch the women, the pregnant women, and then cut their stomachs open with swords. So when you get the chance, just go ahead and mark it up, so next time we can bring that out.
No doubt.
Barbarians, man.
And this dude was a barbarian of their own people.
It was own people.
Menahem. So let's continue.
Was it like a recompense because of the cruelty we committed against our own people, that they just later get enacted our own evil?
It's just a symbol of curses, because you'll sit back, you pull the verse even in Hosea that they were doing it. This is just how low the Most High brought us down. You can the funny thing is, you can sit back and take what you read in Hosea and parallel it to Samaria and eventually America.
Right.
It's the same concept. The fall of Samaria, the fall of North America. Whether it's the fall of Jerusalem, the fall of Israel in America, or the fall of Israel when we got to Africa. Same scenario. You know what I mean? So let's continue on to Josephus.
Line 232. And after this manner it was that this Menahem continued to reign with cruelty and barbarity for 10 years. But when Pul...
Hey, listen, think about this. That was the only way to keep in control of the people. He just had to whip up on them and threaten them by violence. Because, after this point, the Most High wasn't authorizing any of the leaders at this point. He authorized Jehu and his family line. That was it. This same chaos happened when there was Ahab's father. Ahab's father, it was started with an O or I forgot the dude's name, but it was Ahab's father did the same thing. It was a bunch of coups going on after Jeroboam's lineage went down, and then Othniel, something like that. And he was like a heavy wartime general. And then it was him, and then it was Ahab, and then they ushered in another one of the 9.5 king leaders. But this is what it took to keep people in order: barbarity and cruelty.
Omri.
Omri, that's what it was. It's Omri. That was his name. Yes, sir. Let's continue though.
Okay. And after this manner, it was that this Menahem continued to reign with cruelty and barbarity for 10 years.
Yep.
But when Pul,
Now this is Pul. This is the first king of Assyria that started funneling his eyes at the northern kingdom. It wasn't, everybody talks about Shalmaneser. That was the final coup de grace, so to speak, was Shalmaneser that took over, that was the Assyrian king that took over Israel. Pul was the first. Then Tiglath-Pileser was second. So Pul comes in with his men as the head. Read on.
But when Pul, king of Assyria, had made an expedition against him.
That means I'm about to sit back and besiege Samaria. So all this infighting is going. Remember Apocalypto? Everybody's fighting each other in the jungle, wrestling, and this guy's I'm Jaguar, and all this fighting stuff going on. And they look up and the white man's there. They were distracted, but the white man was the real enemy. And he was the symbolizing of the fall of their empire. Israel's fighting amongst each other, killing babies, and doing all this fighting for power, jockeying for power, but the real enemy's right around the way.
That happened also in right before the Romans conquered and ransacked Israel. You could read about that in Masada.
Yep.
In Masada, Israel was killing. Masada is a fortified city, which was the last stronghold that the Romans had ransacked before completely destroyed all of Israel.
Yep.
That they were fighting each other within the city walls. As a matter of fact,
it's in Jerusalem.
They was killing each other while the Romans was knocking the wall down, invading the city. They were still fighting each other even when the Romans had breached the city. That's how much infighting that exists between our people. Even when our fall is right around the corner.
We were doing that right before Antiochus Epiphanes came and took us out. It was the small faction of Israelites fighting against the Hebrews that was pushing Hellenism. We were fighting each other then. Right before Antiochus came in. Why did Antiochus come in? People forget. He was like, man, listen, these damn barbaric Jews, they're fighting amongst each other. You know what? There's half the population wants to be like us anyway. 3/4 of the population wants to be with us anyway. So let's just go ahead and make them that way. That was what his thinking was. 3/4 to a half of these people want to be like us anyway. So why are we wasting around? Everybody, the evil, mighty, wicked Antiochus came down and Hellenized us. No, we had a class. Remember we had that class right before we celebrated Hanukkah? And the class was like prelude to Hanukkah. Yeah. Prelude to Antiochus. Everyone wants to say big bad Antiochus. The Greeks were fine with us serving the Most High.
Yep.
But when the kingdom is split, and half the kingdom wants to be like the white man, and the other wants to be like Israel, what are they going to say? Well, there's chaos here. They need the Hellenistic way. We're going to sit back here and just clean them up. That's the reason behind it. We don't look at it that way, though. Remember Jason and Onias and all the fighting between half of the priesthood and the other half was trying to go Greek and do businesses and make money?
Yep.
Then they would say, listen, man,
uncircumcised themselves.
They was like, listen, the priest is holding the money. They're holding the money. They're holding the money, boss. They holding the money, the chief. They cooling like hell. They holding money they holding your money.
Yep.
That's what they were saying.
Told the Greeks that.
They holding your money, boss. I'm just letting you know. Bro, this is how we always fall. Infighting, weakness amongst the body.
Gang banging.
Yeah.
I take a project get tore down.
That's right.
Well, bro. So this is what's going on. Let's keep going. So Pul comes in now. He's ready to sit back here and take advantage of the obvious infighting. Read on.
But when Pul, king of Assyria, had made an expedition against him, he did not think meet to fight or engage in battle with the Assyrians.
So now, this guy, King Menahem, was like, we don't want this smoke from Pul and these Assyrians. So Menahem's like, what we got to do to keep these guys off our back? We can't beat them. Read on.
But he persuaded him to accept of 1,000 talents of silver, and to go away, and so put an end to the war.
There wasn't no war. What do you mean put an end to the war? There wasn't no war in the first place. You know, let's squash this beef, man. Look, how much money you want, man? You want 1,000 pieces of silver? 1,000 tons? 1,000 tons?
Cold War.
A $250,000? It was more than that. I don't know what a ton of silver is, but it's a lot of damn money. We talked about, like 30 minutes ago, how Jeroboam is the one who experienced all this success. Everybody was making money. They expanded their borders, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're here, and King Pool is here, and now you gotta give up 1,000 tons of silver. A talent. I'm sorry, talent. I said tons. That's insane. 1,000 talents of silver.
A ton of silver is worth just over 550,000.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's 1,000 tons. I mean talents. I don't know what tons in my head. Talents. 1,000 talents.
30 pounds.
That's it?
You said 30, like 30 pounds, right?
I don't
know.
know.
Like 25.
I forgot.
No.
I thought a talent was like 75.
Yeah, talents are like 75 pounds today. But as far as the currency exchange of the value of it would be a little different.
So 75 times 1,000.
Yeah, one is the weight and the other one is the value.
75,000 pounds of silver.
Yeah. So, but then the talent has a value too.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the value of it times 1,000.
Right.
So it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
So the point is, so let's keep going in there.
Line, want me to read 233 again?
This
Okay,
sum is fun.
He did not think meet to fight or engage in battle with the Assyrians, but he persuaded him to accept of 1,000 talents of silver.
You've just become a vassal state now to Assyria. Once this money is kicking in, you think it's going to stop at 1,000 talents? No. What's going to happen is, Fool's going to say, greetings, Menahem. It's been around 3 months. Where's my cut now? Now you're a vassal state. You give him 1,000 talents. You give him 1,000 talents. You got to keep giving them talents.
Yeah.
Now it's about every month I got to start paying bread to you, right? Now you're a vassal state. Just like this, a year ago, I'm going to say a year ago, things were okay.
Yeah.
Now within 8 months, everything's collapsed. Read on. Or so many months. Read on.
And to go away, and so put an end to the war. This sum the multitude collected from Menahem.
So listen, how they got this 1,000 talents, Menahem collected it. Read on.
By exacting 50 drachmae.
Drachmae is a Greek form of coinage.
Yeah.
Read on.
By exacting 50 drachmae as poll money for every head.
So listen, I got to take the money from the people. So everybody got rich during Jeroboam's time. You losing that money immediately now. All the land expansion and the success that comes from expanding out. Now everybody that earned and acquired and got blessed from that, now got to come out of pocket to come up with this 1,000 talents of silver to get pulled off our back. Read on.
As poll money for every head. After which he died and was buried in Samaria, and left his son Pekahiah, his successor in the kingdom.
So listen, I can't say it was a year after Jeroboam died, but so many years went by within a 10-year span because Menahem ruled for 10 years.
We got some notes. You got some notes right here at the bottom. I don't know if you got those notes on yours.
I got some more. I got some of them.
You read that.
Dr. Wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
So paragraph A at the bottom. Dr. Wall, in his critical notes on 2 Kings 15-20, observes that when this Menahem is said to have exacted the money of Israel, of all the mighty men of wealth, of each man 50 shekels of silver, to give Pul, the king of Assyria, 1,000 talents. This is the first public money raised by any Israelite king by a tax on the people.
Normally, the money, because Judah was doing it a lot, but they were sitting back and going in their reserves. Judah was going into their gold reserves. They would go in the temple and take pieces and chunks of gold off it and just send it to the king. Usually it just came from the king.
All the golden vessels.
All the vessels
of the tabernacle.
Remember Rehoboam, they came in, they put women pictures all up in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
They went into the kingly spots and took the gold out and left out.
Or the targets of gold.
Yeah.
The shields of gold.
That's the point. That was in the house of Lebanon. But they would go to the royal palace and strip it. Menahem is like, okay, I'm taking it from the regular people. And this is the first time I guess chronicled that Israel took from the regular people. But keep going on.
This is the first public money raised by any Israelite king by a tax on the people, that they used before to raise it out of the treasures of the house of the Most High, or of their own house, that it was a poll money on the rich men, and them only, to raise 353,000, or, as others count, a talent for 100,000 at the rate of 6, was it drachm?
Yeah.
Rate of 6 drachm or 7 drachm per head, and that the Most High commanded by Ezekiel 45:8 and 46:18 that no such thing should be done at the Jews' restoration, but the king should have land of his own.
I'm trying to think. But the problem is Ezekiel quoted these laws, but they weren't living by laws anyway. They weren't living by the laws anyway. They were doing what they wanted to do. So Menahem's like, I'm gonna sit back and tax the people to back off Pul. He was successful. Pul made his money and left. But now we're a vassal state to the Assyrian Empire already. So where are we at back up top?
After which he died.
Okay.
That's where the subparagraph A
Okay.
started. After which he died and was buried in Samaria, and left his son Pekahiah, his successor in the
So
kingdom.
let's hold Pekahiah and let's go back in the scriptures and continue in the scriptures. Let's see. Let's go 2 Kings 15, verse 19 through 22.
Second Kings chapter 15, verse 19. And Pul, the king of Assyria, came against the land. And Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to confirm the kingdom in his hand.
So listen, it's written in a different way, but he's like he's saying Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, so Pul can say Menahem's the leader, and he's a vassal of Assyria. So it worked on both ends for him. I'll leave you alone. I'm not going to fight you, but Assyria is going to sit back and back Menahem's presence in the kingdom. So Menahem's like, my lineage can be taken care of as being kings as long as we play ball with Pul and keep paying him money, and I can make a habit of just taxing the people to pay for this man versus coming out of our pocket. You know what I mean? On a intelligence level, it's smart. They don't realize it's the beginning of the end. Okay? And the funny thing is, what we're going to read down the line, we read about Hosea and Shalmaneser, right? We always read that about Shalmaneser takes up with Hosea. What we don't read about is Hosea didn't want to pay no money out of him. No, it wasn't that. I'm sorry. Who wants to prophesy as to why the Assyrians took over Israel? Who wants to just guess it?
If this is not the main reason, I know.
No, I want the main reason. Obviously, the main reason the Most High wanted it to happen.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
One. Give me one question. Give me one. Just give me one.
They saw. Well, for one, when we're in our power, we're untouchable according to Scripture. When they
It's not even that deep.
When they see the weakness in us, they see an opportunity.
Okay.
And the Most High makes that happen on purpose to go against us. He'll actually side with the nations to punish us.
Yes.
Even though we're the chosen, we always get it in our head. We make the mistake of getting in our head, all the nations are spittle. They mean nothing. They're a drop of bucket compared to us. He don't care about them anyway. But what a lot of times what we don't realize is the Most High will benefit them and raise them up and side with them as if they're the chosen over us, only to punish us.
That's true. But I want to get if anybody got a guess, why? What was the mechanical thing that happened that triggered the situation? I know you guys might not know it, but it's a very similar theme.
What's the question again? Why the Assyrians?
Why did the Assyrians come over and finally take over the northern kingdom? We're seeing right now they're a vassal. We're seeing right now this is the beginning of the Assyrians taking money and payments from the northern kingdom. Why do you think all of a sudden it went from 0 to 100? No, you already had an answer.
Okay. Nobody else wants to say nothing. I'm
you know what?
everybody a chance.
We're gonna just keep reading it. We'll figure. And the answer gonna be next week. But
I got wait for a week.
Listen, we had one person take a stab at it. It's not that deep. I'm gonna say it real quick, and we'll prove it next week.
Okay.
Assyrians caught wind that the northern kingdom was negotiating with Egypt.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And he said, "Oh, y'all want to get with Egypt? We're gonna bust you up then. We're gonna take you out." Just like when we were sitting back here negotiating with Egypt with the southern kingdom, and Babylon had to get them.
Is that
same thing?
Is that when they sent a letter to Egypt, but they intercepted the letter?
They found out.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't gonna.
It's the same. I know you were. You was getting all spiritual and getting all deep.
No.
I was like, there was a mechanical reason.
Gotcha.
We tried to go to Egypt to run from our battle. Just like the southern kingdom wanted to run to Egypt to sit back here from being just under men.
It was a WikiLeaks.
It was. Yeah, they got WikiLeaks, and the information got to Assyria. They said, "Oh, you want to sit back and join Egypt to take us over? We're gonna pull you out right now." But it keeps going back to the fact that the Most High was like, "I just want you to be up under these nations and learn what servitude is." We didn't want to be under the Most High, and we didn't want to be under the nations.
Yeah.
That was the theme. We didn't want to be one of the Romans.
We didn't want to be under nobody.
We didn't want to be in the Romans. That's why we sat back and was acting up, and Moses had to take us out of Jerusalem. The Romans was like, they got tired of us. We got tired of us being under the Romans, and the Moses had to take us out. We got tired of being up under the Assyrians. We got tired of being up under Babylon.
Yep.
We never wanted to be up under the Most High. This is the theme. We didn't want to serve.
Where do you read where they got the wind that we were negotiating with the Egyptians?
We're going to read it. That's next week.
Oh, that's next week.
I'm just talking about it as a prelude to get our mind to start seeing the themes in Israel.
You have to wait like the rest of them.
The themes in Israel is we didn't want to listen. We didn't want to be in order with somebody else. It always goes back to that. Well, listen, it was us not want to be in order with the Most High. It was us want to be high placed boys, and not want to not want to go to the temple and be up under the priest. It was us not want to be up under the Assyrian Empire. We didn't want to be up under the Babylonian Empire. We didn't want to be up under the Greek and Roman Empire. It's the same thing. We don't want to be in order.
We want liberty.
We want liberty. And the Most High, you are going to serve somebody. If you don't want to serve me, you're going to serve the nations.
Yeah.
And when you show you don't want to do that, I'm gonna bring even harder bondage to you. That is the theme.
Yeah.
It's Israel's rebellion. We ain't talking about the white man all damn day long. If we just did what we were supposed to do and been in order, most of would have been took us out. Except the fact that we're punished, we're here because we're rebellious. So can you be in order, follow my laws, keep your head down, and do your job so the Most High can come to work for us and take us out of our conditions versus being so damn rebellious? That's the moral of the story. That's the moral of all these stories. We don't want to serve the Most High, so now I'm going to bring these bosses on top of you. So now, how do you want this punishment? You want to live the rest of your life just under paying taxes forever? Or you want to be more rebellious and now get uprooted out of your country? This is the lesson. Anyway, so verse 19 again, please, sir. Thank you.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse 19. And Pul, the king of Assyria, came against the land. And Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to confirm the kingdom in his hand. And Menahem exacted the money of Israel.
He taxed him. He polled him. Read on.
even of all the mighty men of wealth, of each man 50 shekels of silver, to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back and stayed not there in the land. And the rest.
So he said, you gave me the money? I don't care how you got the money. You gave me the money. I'll go back home. We got paid. Read on.
And the rest of the acts of Menahem and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel?
Read on.
And Menahem slept with his fathers, and Pekahiah his son reigned in his stead. In the 50th year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekahiah the son of Menahem began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 2 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin.
What verse we at? I'm so sorry.
24.
20 what?
24 we just read.
Let's stop. Let's stop. Let's go now to Josephus, book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 1.5, until we get to the end of I guess the 2. Till we get to 2. What was put in? That's fine.
Book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 1, line 233.
See, we already read that. I'm tripping. We already read that earlier. So let's
Yeah, we stopped at line
and
2.
left his son Pekahiah.
So we didn't get to let's read. I'm sorry. You're right. Let's read to the end of that paragraph.
Okay.
Got a little lost for a second, Salaki.
After which he died. I'm sorry.
Where you at?
Are you good?
We're at the top of line 233. That subparagraph A,
Yeah.
where it says after.
Got you. Okay. I thought you were going to start at the beginning of it. I see it now. Okay.
And left his son Pekahiah, right? Okay.
After which he died and was buried in Samaria, and left his son Pekahiah, his successor in the kingdom, who followed the barbarity of his father, and so ruled but 2 years only. After which he was slain with his friends at a feast by the treachery of one Pekah. Pekahiah ho. I mean, what the hell's going on? Listen, he's sitting back, there's a whole bunch of Pekahs and Hiahs, and anyway, so Pekah got him. Pekah got Pekahiah.
At a feast.
Yeah, kinda. It's always that sneak shit out. Red wedding stuff out. Read on.
By the treachery of one Pekah, the general of his horse, and the son of Remaliah.
The general of his horse. What does that mean?
I guess.
I would. You want the general of your army, huh? Company.
That is mechanic.
I get. I don't think it's a horse mechanic.
Guy,
I think I know there's mechanics for horses.
He's the horse
I know there was
trainer.
horse mechanics.
That's what your horse is your cavalry.
I know.
Yeah.
Horse mechanics. Damn, man, that's awesome, man.
He putting horseshoes on. Let the horseshoes on horse.
Put new boots for him,
New
man.
boots on the horse. New shoes on the ride.
That's awesome, man. So let's go. Let's keep going. So obviously he's this cavalry guy, right? Like you said, that makes sense. Let's continue.
By the treachery of one Pekah, the general of his horse, and the son of Remaliah, who had laid snares for him.
Snakes in the grass, man. Read on.
Now this Pekah held the government 20 years, and proved a wicked man and a transgressor.
These are all bad guys, bro. Now listen, we're gonna hold off on that one. We're gonna let that one go. We'll get back to this one. Let's continue on back in the Bible. We're in 2 Kings 15.
24.
Let's go 20. Let's get 22 again. We're gonna run through. Let me see, 26 probably. No, yes, 26.
2 Kings, chapter 15, verse 22.
You know, we might no. Let's go to 29.
Okay. 2 Kings 15, 22 through 29. And Menahem slept with his fathers, and Pekahiah his son reigned in his stead. In the 50th year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekahiah the son of Menahem began to reign over Israel in Samaria and reigned 2 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. But Pekah, the son of Remaliah, a captain of his, conspired against him and smote him in Samaria, in the palace of the king's house, with Argob and Ariah, and with him 50 men of the Gileadites.
So that means he had backing of the Israelites and with Gad, Reuben, and east of Manasseh. Read on.
And he killed them and reigned in his room. And the rest of the acts of Pekahiah and all that he did, behold, they are written in the books of the chronicles of the kings of Israel.
So 2 years for Pekahiah.
And also, while the northern kingdom has gone through Pekahiah, they've gone through Menahem, they've gone through Shalom,
Zechariah.
they've gone through Zechariah. Uzziah is still the king of the southern kingdom.
Kinda.
So you can see how the southern kingdom was more stable.
He's got some vitiligo in him.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yeah, this whole time.
Vitiligoed out, but he's still reigning.
He got that glove on, that glitter glove. He got that glitter glove on.
He got the glove on.
Yeah, he got that glove on.
But he got a couple gloves on.
But he's still there though. While the northern kingdom go through all these different kings. All that instability.
No doubt. All facts. And it shows you all this infighting is the setup for the bigger fall. Okay. Now we're going to read next is about the next escalated fall of the northern kingdom. Okay. Let's continue in verse 27.
2 Kings 15:27. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah,
At 52 years. Read on.
Pekah, the son of Remaliah, began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 20 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria.
Stop. Now listen. Tiglath-Pileser now was the next guy in power. Who was first? He must have died after he got his bag and got his vassal bread. Now Tiglath, there's a new king. Now so listen, Menahem's lineage is down. Now the next guy up is Pekah, and now Tiglath wants his bread and wants more. Tiglath wants power. He wants influence. So once again, we're going to show a little bit of map work right now. This is the 12 tribes imagery during the time of Joshua. We read earlier that during Jeroboam's time, the ancient borders were reestablished, right? We read that earlier. The borders were reestablished during Jeroboam II's time. Yes, Joshua, and that's why we have the Joshua map to show you the original borders and how they were set up. So now these borders are set up. The original borders were set up, minus obviously Asher didn't have all of that Tyre and Zidon land. That land was broken up real quick to Tyre and Zidon. But these are somewhat of the original borders. Now we got Tiglath-Pileser coming in, and now he's going to start taking over some of these lands. So let's read on.
Verse 29. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Abel-Beth-Maacah.
Stop. We're going to sit back and start off with those two pieces of land, those two parcels. And we're going to sit back and explain it on some maps. It said Ijon and Abel. So if you sit back and look at the map, you're going to see Ijon right there, which is really the direct northernmost part of Israel. Now we know there's a further northeastern space that is carried and ran by Manasseh, but this is the most far north spot of Israel is Ijon, and then that other city was Abel Beth Maacah, and you're also going to see Dan is right around there. So Dan gets wiped out at this time. This is when Dan, Ijon, and that northernmost border of Israel gets eradicated and sent back to Assyria. Okay? Because that's how, this is what verse 29 is going to say. So Ijon Abel Beth Ma'acha. Read on to verse 29 real quick. We're going to break down all these areas and cities.
Okay. And took Ijon and Abel Beth Ma'acha and Genoiah,
Yeah, that's good. Genoiah.
And Kadesh and Hazor and Gilead and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria.
All these people got sent to Assyria. All these land masses got sent to Assyria. Once again, when you're reading, the way I was taught, Shalmaneser took everybody out. But when you're reading the scriptures, it was a methodic breakdown piece by piece. We were vassals first. Then he took down half of our landmass, really more than half. He took more than half our landmass at this time. Tiglath-Pileser did.
So you can't really give Shalmaneser the credit, like some histories give him the credit for taking Israel.
Nah, bro. But he took Samaria and the last remaining stronghold of Israel, northern kingdom. But Tiglath, listen, Pul broke him initially. Yep. Now we got Tiglath coming right behind his son and taking out the north, Ijon, Abel Beth Ma'acha, and Dan is right next door, so you know Dan got hit. Yep. Okay, then we're going to sit back here and go to Genoa. Genoa is further south. This is the Jordan, and this is getting close. Genoa, we're going to sit back and start seeing, is near Naphtali. We know that. No, that's not the one. This is the one. Naphtali is here. You see that Sea of Galilee is right here. They're talking about, this is Ijon and Dan. Now we're going to get in Genoa, which is right slightly above Naphtali. That's why they're explaining about Genoa. It had to have been above this area, which is still Naphtali. Okay?
I can't see it.
I'm moving this damn hand thing and nobody can see it. This is horrible. Well, listen. You do see that red little dot, that pinpoint dot, right? That's Genoa. And Genoa is below Ijon and Dan. Maybe I gotta make this a little wider because I got bad eyes. I can't do it like I used to. So it's to the east of Shechem. Shechem is to the far right, and that's where Manasseh was. Manasseh was near Shechem. I know that for a fact. So let's keep that area in consciousness. I'm pretty sure Shechem is going to be here.
Oh, okay. So it's mountainous. The mountains.
I'm going to bring this thing down. It's not. Trying to find Shechem on this map. Shechem is to the left or to the south of Asher. I don't know why this map doesn't show. Khan says it is near Gilgal, but it's to the Genoa is, I think it's north of Naphtali. It has to be north because as you read on the scripture, it talks about Genoa, Kadesh. Let's find Kadesh
right here. It says Genoa, which means he rests. A place apparently in the north of Galilee.
It has to be.
In Naphtali, taken by Tiglath-Pileser in their first incursion into Palestine.
And that was what I was saying, because if it's north of Galilee, that means it's north of Naphtali. And that's what I was trying to explain, because Naphtali gets completely taken out. Naphtali gets completely taken out.
By the Assyrians.
And we just read Ijon and Dan is the northernmost part that's above Naphtali. So this Genoa must be in between Naphtali, the northernmost part of Naphtali, and Ijon and Dan. That's what Genoa has to be. It has to be in between those two markings.
Were you looking for Shechem?
I was, but this image didn't show it, so I wasn't sweating it.
Some of the,
So Shechem is below near Ephraim, right? Perfect. So that's even further.
Right here.
Okay, that I see. Isn't that red? That small red lining. So it's
The
good.
blue writing right there says Shechem City State.
There it is.
Hebrew friendly, not defeated, 1406 BC.
And that was it's really so that's still around that area. So that works out. So we're still in with Genoa, because some of these maps they're still kind of figuring it out too. Like this image of Genoa. That they put a question mark in Gilgal. These guys don't know all the way where the hell this stuff is at. It says, you see where it said there's Gilgal in two different spots? There's Gilgal up north and there's Gilgal at the bottom. Half the time they don't know what the hell they're looking for anyway. But what I do know is Genoa has to be above Naphtali and below Ijon. So that's a safe thing to say. Then we got Hazar, and we have, which is the next one, Hazar and Kadesh. Now it is on the map. Kadesh is right here, and Hazar, which is still cities above Galilee. You got Hazar, which is where that arrow is, and Kadesh is right above it. And we know Ijon and Dan are above that. So this is all those cities above Naphtali are the ones that Tiglath-Pileser took over. So read again. Matter of fact, let's go back to verse 29 from the top.
2 Kings 15, verse 29. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon.
And once again, we know that Ijon is the northernmost part of Israel, like on the map. Read on.
And took Ijon and Abel Beth Maacah.
And Abel Beth Maacah is slightly south of Ijon. Now I'm going to put in the fact that they took Dan because it's right next to Abel Maacah. So Ijon up north, Abel, which is south, slightly south of it. Dan, read on.
And Genoa.
And we know that Genoa has to be above Naphtali and right around or slightly in the middle of Ijon and Abel Maacah. Read on.
And Kadesh.
Now we got Kadesh, which is also above Galilee, which is still in that northern sector over Naphtali. Read on.
And Hazor.
Which is close to Kadesh. Read on.
And Gilead.
And then now we're dealing with the entire area of Gilead, which is a lot of damn land. That's Manasseh, that's east of Manasseh, that's East Manasseh, Gad, and Reuben. They took over the entire eastern country east of Gilead of Israelites. So Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh, and Naphtali, and Dan, and those northern countries got taken out by Assyria at this particular time. It just became official 722 BC when the rest of them got taken out. But the beginning of us getting eradicated and taken out of our land was here by Tiglath-Pileser, because that was their policy. Their policy was taking people out of their country and sending them down the way. Okay? So, and obviously there wasn't any real unity there anyway. They were sitting back here, a bunch of warring tribes fighting for a position. That was what the history was showing. They were just fighting for position anyway. There was no love and unity amongst those northern tribes. So if Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh, and Naphtali, and Dan got caught slipping, nobody was really sweating it. Because in their mind, the heart of the city was Manasseh and Ephraim, Zebulun and Issachar.
It looked like maybe some.
And Asher.
Yeah.
That was the heart of Samaria. That was what Samaria was known for. Okay? So, let's continue.
And Gilead.
And Gilead is next to that. Gilead is the whole eastern side of Jordan. Read on.
And Galilee.
Okay, and Galilee is near Naphtali. Galilee is where Naphtali was. Read on.
All the land of Naphtali.
There you go. Read on.
And carried them captive to Assyria.
They were all that area was stripped bare. That area was stripped bare. Read on. It's crazy, but Mosiah was trying to give them time.
Yep.
And he said, I'm going to let them have a little bit of fun before this comes to them. I'm going to let Jeroboam run his course and they can smile and make money and expand their borders just so they can lose it within the next 15, 20 years.
Yeah, read Psalms 103 real quick. Psalms 103, start at verse 8 real fast.
Psalms 103. verse 8. The Most High is merciful and gracious.
So the years that Israel had before our enemies came in and overthrew us, in particular the Assyrians, when the Most High was giving them time, that time what Israel didn't understand was what?
Mercy.
That was mercy and grace. A lot of us don't contemplate, or we don't quantify that in a time of peace, that war is right around the corner. And in that time of peace, that was the Most High giving us time to get ourselves together and to go back and serve Him appropriately, the right way. Just like now. You know, war is already upon us, and our people still gangbanging. Our people still selling dope. Our people still robbing each other. There's infighting, still being prostituted, still trying to be cool. Our people still pimping. You know, war is right around the corner, and our people is still in the streets, glorifying the streets at that. It's almost like they're not seeing that this time, or our people aren't picking up the Bible, but they're not looking at this time that the Most High has given us as mercy and grace. Read on.
103 in verse 8. The Most High is merciful and gracious, slow to anger.
He's slow to anger. So what Israel never comprehends is that the Most High is giving us time to get to change. He's giving us time to repent. Read on.
And plenteous in mercy.
Go ahead.
He will not always chide, neither will He keep His anger forever.
Go ahead.
He hath not dealt with us after our sins.
He's the Most High. How many times has the Most High really could have banged on us because we're guilty, but He let us slide? How many times the Most High could have really dropped the hammer on us and brought forth judgment, but we escaped with our lives, or we escaped unpunished? Read on.
He have not dealt with us after our sins.
Go ahead. So it's showing you that the Most High don't even punish us as strict as He could according to the law. He even abates his strength, His punishment towards us, and lets us slide even when we don't deserve it. Read on. That's part of His mercy. He's long suffering. Read on.
Nor rewarded us according to our iniquities.
It says so the Most High doesn't even apply full punishment when we deserve it. Read on.
Whereas the heaven is high above the earth, so great is His mercy toward them that fear Him.
Go ahead.
As far as the east is from the west,
Read on.
so far hath He removed our transgressions from us.
Go ahead.
Like as a father.
They said, but like as a what?
Like as a father.
So we was talking about that earlier. Just like a father does what?
Pitieth his children.
Just like a father has pity to who?
His children.
You know what? A father will whoop the hell out of his kids. He will. But even though he's whooping the hell out of them, what happens while he's whooping them?
Father pitieth his children.
It
kind
bothers
of hurts him,
yeah,
because
it hurts him.
These are his children. He loves them. It's not like he's enjoying
Exactly.
bringing harm.
It's not like I get a kick out of whooping the hell out of you.
Yes, exactly.
Like I like you jumping
Like,
up.
this is a thrill.
You know, I like the way you dance. You know what I'm saying?
Like you dodging the belt.
Yeah, like my kids, they catch that leather.
Hey man, watch this.
You know, they get to doing like they do like a
bout.
Yeah, they got a bout.
And then they try to use the hand to move out the belt.
Yeah, you know, and then they do spins that I ain't never seen before, cause they try to evade. spin. Walk.
Wow.
They doing that Kodak Black. But
watch
Even
this.
with that, it's still restrained.
it's still, you know, and yes, exactly. You're not even using your full force on them like that you could. You know, they don't realize that. I let them feel the first two.
Yeah.
I let them catch the first two is like 80%,
Right.
and then the other ones be like 50%, like 40%. You know what I'm saying? Cause you see their eyeballs like pop up. You know what I'm saying? And scream. But the Most High, that's how the Most High said He does to us, like a father pitieth his children. I'm only whooping you because I have to. It's not like I want to beat you down and become abusive to you. I'm only doing this because you provoke me to anger. And we don't understand that about the Most High. We take that mercy for granted. We take that long suffering, that patience for granted. We take that grace for granted, but the Most High will do it. But that's why it says, O house of Israel, why will you die, O house of Israel? He says, say unto the children of Israel, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
God.
The Most High, he takes no pleasure in whooping us. It's only because he has to. It's not because he wants to. But we don't compute the fact that, you know what, the Most High is letting me slide so I can get right. He's giving me time to get right. Finish that right there.
Like as a father pitieth his children, so the Most High pitieth them that fear him. For he knoweth our frame. He remembereth that we are dust.
He said he knoweth our what?
Frame.
The Most High, when he say he knoweth our frame, what is he saying? He know what we're made out of. He said, I know what you're made out of, and I know that you guys just can't get it right. I know how weak you are. I know how hard it is for you. I know how impulsive you are. I know how much you're into your flesh. That's what he's saying. So let that go. We can go back to 2 Kings.
Okay.
Yeah, chapter 15. And we're back in verse
It's 20
29.
Yeah, was it 20? No, it was
We had that 30.
30.
Because 29 was all the locations.
Yeah.
let's do the locations one more time. Let's do the location one more time, sir.
2 Kings chapter 15 verse 29. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Abel Beth Maacah and Genoa and Kadesh and Hazor and Gilead and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria.
Now what I want to do is go real quick to 1 Kings 15 and 20.
1 Kings chapter 15 verse 20.
Yep.
So Benadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of the host which he had against the cities of Israel, and smote Ijon and Dan and Abel Beth Maacah and all Sinarah with all the land of Naphtali.
That area must have been a very vulnerable, weak place because it was a target of the Syrians and the Assyrians. Ijon, Dan, Abel, Maacah, Naphtali. That area must have been a weak spot because multiple kings were going at that spot, and they obviously knew that was a way to go at a weak spot in the nation. So Naphtali and all those northern areas were weak spots, and they kept going at those spots. So what we're reading in 1 Kings is what actually happened in 2 Kings 15 and 29. I just want to bring that out, okay? And that allows me to kind of slide in Dan too, because it's in the adjoining area, okay? So let's get verse 30.
2 Kings chapter 15 verse 30. And Hoshea, the son of Elha, made a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and smote him and slew him.
So here we go. There's some more. Listen, they're still infighting while their chunks of their nation is getting taken out. The infighting is enhanced. Now Hoshea is sitting back here going at Pekah when they should be coming together to fortify the remaining land they got left.
But everybody has an individual agenda. This is the problem.
You just lost Naphtali, you lost Dan, you lost Reuben, you lost Gad, you lost Manasseh, you lost 5 or 6 tribes, just like that. You lost half of your nation, and you arguing and fighting still.
You know, this is what propels Esau to continue imprisoning and beating our people, because he says in his mind, well, y'all don't give a damn about each other anyway. You know what I'm saying? This is his conclusion is, why should y'all be so mad that I step on one of y'all necks?
Yeah. Y'all don't care.
Y'all don't care. Y'all step on each other's neck.
Rap about it. Just
think about it. It's not even 9.5 tribes at this point. Think about this. It's only 9 tribes. Remember, the Levites left up north and they went all south. So Levi is all south. All you got is 9 tribes, and out of those 9 tribes, you lost Dan, you lost Reuben, you lost Gad, you lost Naphtali, and you lost half of Manasseh. So you lost 4.5 of your tribes, and you only got 9. So really, it's literally half of the kingdom. It's split.
Northern kingdom.
4.5's gone. 4.5 remains. What you gonna say?
I just wanted to add to the point. You made an excellent point. Even today, BL, you know what? Wasn't
You can
in
say
effect.
that. I mean, if they cut us off of that, we're in
I don't
trouble.
know. Wasn't in effect. I'm trying to be careful. Wasn't in effect when we were killing each other by the droves, by the thousands, 15,000 a year at one time in LA alone. It wasn't in effect until they started.
When we was banging in Little Rock. Was killing each other in
It
New
wasn't in
Orleans.
effect then. It wasn't. BLM didn't come into effect until they started stepping on our necks, and that's what you were just saying.
Yeah, but that was a money grab. Because the BLM movement was a money grab. Because certain people got wealthy. None of that money got transferred back into the communities.
I didn't even know it was a movement that had anything to do with it. I thought it was a protest and an outcry because
That was a
of
money
the
maker.
police brutality.
Yeah, that
They just use what happens every day in the streets.
Yeah.
And just
You
enhance
weren't
it and
complaining
finance
when
it.
you was
Yeah.
doing it to each other. You're complaining because now the police are doing it to you. That was my point.
And they're financially backed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that though.
Just like the Clinton Foundation in Haiti.
Oh man, that was a whole lot of
That was $10 billion in aid from around the world sent to Haiti through the Clinton administration, through the Clinton Foundation, and only 500 million made it to actual companies that were in Haiti, that were from Haiti, and of that, only like 30 million actually went to the people.
And also,
of 10 billion.
And also, did you know that the reason that they sat back and gave their focus to Haiti is when they had the earthquake, that's when they realized that there was gold in Haiti. They realized there was gold in Haiti, and that's why they came. They wasn't just taking the little babies and doing all bad things. They found
They was
gold
doing
in
that
it. No, it wasn't just the motivation.
Yeah, kinda.
They'll do that whenever they want anyway. They went down there because they found gold in them dark hills.
They didn't know.
And when they found gold in them hills, boom, Clinton's down there. Now they want their money. Now they want to sit back and use the aid for the earthquake as a mask and a cover to take the gold out of Haiti. And while I'm in Haiti and I'm taking gold and I'm embezzling money through all these funds, let me deal with these, take these kids and mutilate them and do all kind of bad things to them too. That's just a triple win out of the deal. Don't forget how the war machine or how the embezzlement process works. Think about Ukraine. This might take class way long. But all the billions and billions of dollars in aid, what ends up happening, and say for instance we approved $80 million to go to Slava Ukraine. Out of $80 million, now they send at least a couple billion. But say for instance they say $80 million is for military equipment. But when you break down that $80 million, what they're doing is, say for instance, one missile might cost, the actual cost of one missile might be $100,000. What they're saying is, each missile costs $200,000. So what they're doing is, they're going to take $100,000 and put it on the missile. And then $100,000 is going to come back in cash. And they're going to embezzle it and funnel it back to bank accounts in Monaco. So now maybe half of the 80 billion goes to war, and the other 40 billion goes back to different people's bank accounts.
Offshore accounts.
Offshore accounts. And that includes congressmen or House representative people that approved the bill. People that approved the bill are getting kickbacks too. So you got they have their slush funds in Monaco and all these different Swiss bank accounts. You got Zelensky and all his heads. They have their accounts in Monaco and these places. They said Monaco is one of the highest places for embezzlement. So they'll take 40 Monaco and Spain. So they're sitting back here. They'll shoot 40 million, and the 40 million goes to America. The other 40 goes to Ukraine and comes back to other banks around the world. And that's how the hustle goes. And all those approved monies, everybody's getting a piece, including the American leadership that approved the bills to happen. All that aid is not just going the way they're saying it goes. Some of it goes directly to the heads and they funnel it back to their banks. Other monies go to, say for instance, the other 40 million of product and weaponry that gets shipped over to Ukraine. 2/3 of it goes to where it got to go. The other third ends up in the black market.
And that's both for war and for natural disasters.
And earthquake relief,
hurricane relief.
That's what I'm explaining across. That's why I'm bringing it up, because this was happening in Haiti.
All money makers.
All of it, all that money is being embezzled back to the people who set up the foundation.
So some people have said, never let a good disaster go to waste.
Exactly.
Or profiteers.
Disaster profiteers. But all the money that they know how to wash it to where it doesn't directly come back to them.
Somebody should know the
inner workings.
And this is what happens when you don't have any sovereignty over your own nation, and you're subject to Gentiles. Now you're subject to Gentile customs.
Because what's happening in Haiti, you know what they do? They end up giving the president of Haiti a little kickback. But the rest of the money goes back to the powers that be in Washington and in other countries. And it's like, listen, you're under IMF slavery anyway. So you don't have sovereignty anyway. Everybody that takes those IMF bank loans and those World Bank bank loans, you can't even grow your own wheat and your own supplies to sustain your nation. You have to pay for everything out in these outer countries. That's the only way you can survive.
They said that even in Haiti, Clinton was bringing those Clayton homes, Clayton home builders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They was building shabby homes in Haiti, and he was using them as the contractor.
Yeah.
But Clayton was already getting sued here in America for building shabby homes. But when you actually find out who Clayton Homes is, they're political funders of Clinton campaign.
Wow.
So guess what
the
happened?
guys that put me in office, I give them the contract when the disaster comes to build these crap houses.
And they don't give me a kickback out of the portion. They're saying they're spending $50,000 a house. They're really putting 25 in, and I'm getting a cut of the other 25.
Exactly.
That's the hustle. That's how everybody makes their money. Everybody gets their palms greased.
Yeah.
That is what money laundering and washing of money all is.
It's trash.
It's just damn near impossible to find out where the money goes. Money laundering.
The guy that found out got killed.
Or the guys that find out.
The artist that drew, there's artists that drew pictures of where the money goes when these events happen.
Yeah.
And that guy was put to death.
Or you're vilified, or they tear your credibility down. Zelensky is sitting back here snoring it up. This guy, Zelensky has at least $1 billion worth of money and assets all around the world. He has a house in Miami. He's chilling now. Who's to say he's still in Ukraine right now? All they gotta do is just put backgrounds that look like Ukraine and act like you think he's in Kiev.
Hell no.
He's not in Kiev. Suffering. Public enemy number one. His own people want him dead.
Right.
He
would be found eventually like Saddam
his
was.
first lady of Ukraine.
Yeah.
They showed the other day. She looked just like
Everything's chill.
Yeah.
Like, bro, your whole place, your infrastructure is getting blown up. Kiev, every few cycles of bombs, they're taking out your power. You think he's out there in Ukraine? Please, bro, he's not.
He would eventually be found like Saddam was.
Listen.
Not
really, because listen, America got him taken care of until there's no need for him. They're gonna get rid of him. I'm gonna say this: don't be surprised that he gets taken out down the way, because you can't do nothing. They're losing bad. They're losing bad. They can't really hide it. He got one more of this quote unquote offensive he got set up. He got one more run.
So we need more money.
You see all those memes? We need more money. You see the way he had this fur coat on? He had this big gold chains. And he's like, "We need more money." Like, what do you need more money for?
Wow.
But it's not. But the funny thing is, not just him getting the kickbacks. It's not just his advisors getting the kickbacks. It's the people in the West that get the kickbacks. It's everybody got to get their piece. There's a reason why they keep saying approve bill, approve bill.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
approve it.
Oh, yeah.
And then the funny thing is, now they said the World Bank, IMF, took over their loan. IMF took over the loan now. So now IMF owes America. IMF took over the loan that the United States gave to Zelensky. All those billions of dollars, it was on the news. IMF took over his bill. Now that he owes IMF, IMF is gonna sit back and owe back America. This is changing of money, bro. There's playing games, different interest rates. So now IMF owes America a certain amount of millions of dollars at a certain interest rate, and now they're gonna keep taxing. The IMF is gonna start taxing Zelensky for X amount of millions of dollars. It's just switching of money. It's just playing with numbers.
It's been decades.
Buying out the debt.
Yeah. But now IMF bought America's debt. All the money they sent out, that money, America's getting that money back. Because America's in bed with IMF and the World Bank anyway.
It's a game.
It's all money games.
This is the purpose of these political events. These political events are financially beneficial to certain people.
Keep going down there.
Alright. These political events are beneficial to different people, different groups of people. So when you see 9/11s happen, when you see different accidents happen, there's insurance money goes everywhere. When you see storms happen, these storms happen in Puerto Rico, there's money getting made. There's money getting made on the left-hand side and on the the straight-up right-hand basic side. That event, Sam Bankman-Fried, that guy recently with the crypto collapse, you remember that? A big crypto bank collapsed. Well, guess what? Billions of dollars disappeared, but guess who got a major contribution? The Democratic Party. The Democratic Party got a major contribution from what's it called? Sam Bankman-Fried. His here we go. Real quick. I was looking up just before they pulled out. Yeah, just once his big crypto exchange collapsed, money disappeared. They don't know how it disappeared. All of a sudden, people affiliated with him were what? The Democratic Party get billions of dollars in crypto. That's the game. So they're gonna back him up in court. It's all just wrestling. It's wrestling, bro. It's not like we're enemies. We're playing roles. We're wrestling. We're playing characters. But the character play is necessary for the money exchange.
Yeah.
We're creating storylines.
Yeah.
We're creating narratives. Events happen randomly. We don't know what's going on.
I got attacked backstage.
Yeah, I got attacked backstage. But then there's other groups of these different families that are losing financially. It's like sports and they're competing for money.
Yep.
And so
leverage.
If I'm losing leverage, if I'm losing power, now we become adversaries, we become enemies. So the house of Edom is split, like drug dealers and blocks be getting split.
Okay.
This is my block. Well, this is my block. Now we can play the game, we can play off each other, and long as, like the cops and dope dealers. Dope dealers and cops, they be going together. They have a connection. We're going to pretend to enforce the law, but you got to give us kickbacks. The justice is the same way. When it comes to men going where? When men deal with what? Child support. It looks like the state is helping the family structure, but they're actually profiting.
Yeah, that child support come with interest rates.
They're profiting. Listen, bro, I didn't know this. I found out last week. They're profiting off of the water.
Yeah, they hold the payment until they get the.
They're profiting billions of dollars off of the parental issues that black folks be having.
Parental dysfunctions.
Parental dysfunctions. They're profiting off of it. So it behooves them to keep these laws going. Everything is a money hustle, and the appearance of justice.
The prison system is a money hustle.
Everything is money. Everything's wealth.
Yep.
It's wealth.
Privatized prisons. What does that mean? That means the state and federal government no longer build the prisons. That means if I got enough money and I get with a group of investors, we can build our own prison. And guess what? We need those beds filled. Mm-hmm. Because we get paid off every bed. It's like an apartment complex. You invest in an apartment complex. The next part is to fill it up with residents.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with prison. Yes, sir.
That's great that you brought that out. You're probably going to explain this, but as a prisoner, you're not under the labor laws. Under the labor law, because you're not a free citizen, you're a prisoner. You're a criminal. You're a convicted criminal. You are not entitled to minimum wage. They pay each one of those prisoners like 54 cents
per day.
A damn day.
For
they pay
10 hours
them.
of work.
They make a killing off of them because the labor they get off of them, they pay them next to nothing.
Right. So now
us, they got to pay at least minimum wage. But as a convicted, you're not under the same labor laws.
You're not under the same labor laws, and on top of that, you don't have any rights to say how you're going to be experimented on by medical companies.
Treated.
So medical companies can come in, which is another hustle, can come in and experiment and use the prisoners as a guinea pig population to determine how their drugs work.
Yeah, but that freaked me out. I went to jail years ago. When I first got the truth out, and they injected me with some kind of brown liquid, bro. It was hell out. It was hell. That's why I stopped saying, I'm not gonna go to jail, bro. You know what I'm saying? It sat here, bro. I still went back.
I refuse going.
Listen, bro.
I don't blame you.
Listen, they just put some brown. They said it was for no, it's not clean in there. You know,
Oh, like some kind of vaccination.
there's a word for it, bro. About oh man, when you're amongst population of people and there's not tuberculosis, yet tuberculosis.
Yeah.
They gave me a shot for tuberculosis. It was like this red brown liquid. It was like I didn't just say no, bro. It was like this is like before the vaccine came
Now
out.
imagine that's just jail. Imagine being in prison,
Bro.
Yeah, well,
It was this holding, bro.
Yeah, you don't have no rights, bro. Your rights are forfeited. So you got to eat what they give you. And if they want to experiment on the prison population, there's many books written about how America experiments on their prison population. Give them radiated food, find out, just to determine how long they're gonna live. Just these new vaccines that come out.
Yeah.
A lot of them are they're done through the prison population. They're determined, and military.
The simplest situation. Can I pull this real quick, bro?
Come.
Right here, The Guardian. Kids for cash. Judge gets 28 years in Pennsylvania bribery case.
Yeah, I remember that.
A long-serving judge has been ordered to spend nearly 30 years in prison for his role in a bribery scandal that prompted a state's high court to overturn thousands of juvenile convictions. Former Louisiana County Judge Mark Jr. was sentenced on Thursday for 28 years in prison for taking $1 million in bribes from the builder of 2 juvenile detention centers.
Yep.
In a case that became known as Kids for Cash.
That's right here in America.
So all the Israelite kids growing up, that this information might not be relevant to you. It actually is relevant to you, because they build juvenile prisons for kids, and they have to fill those beds. Like Sean Shawan said, that the beds for apartment complexes got to get filled up. That's business. But also building these children prisons, these kid prisons, detention centers,
youth correctional facilities.
They have to fill those beds up for it to be profitable.
Yep. So then, now imagine you got a kid with a little slap on the wrist. He's gonna get sent to one of these correction facilities because somebody invested into that. And so now the next thing you do is you lobby to the judges.
Yeah.
I need you to be stiffer on crime.
Yeah.
I need you to be harder on punishment.
Exactly.
Because we got these prisons, we got these correction facilities. We gotta fill these. We gotta fill them up. We gotta max this money out. We got investors behind. We got a lot of money behind these situations. And they also go to these record companies, because a lot of these record companies have ownership in prison systems.
Yep.
So I need the rapper, I need the artist to talk about, I need you to have guns in every video. Because the rappers control, you're under contract. So your video shoot has already been planned and played out and laid out before you even shot the video.
Organized.
Yeah, it's already been organized. We already got directors. We already got the artists. We got the makeup. We got the clothes you're gonna wear. We got the theme of the video. We got what you're gonna be doing, the role you're gonna be playing in the video. You're gonna have women behind you dancing half naked, but those are gonna be your women. This is not gonna be our people. They're gonna be your people dancing half naked behind.
It's rare if they put their people.
They don't put their people in there. They put your people in there, twerking, dancing half naked on top of the car. They got your people as the dancers. They got your people shooting guns, peddling guns, with the baking soda on the table. They got your people doing that in the video. And you know what? As they propagate this violence and propagate this foolishness, this coonery, and this selling out of our people, with every video, everybody got guns in the video. They want that. They propelling that so that in the end game is your people kill each other off. So we got insurance policies on the rappers.
Yeah.
We got insurance policies on the artists.
Much every way.
So if the artist, something happens to the artist, we get paid anyway. Because it's a business.
He's a guaranteed profit.
He's a profit, bro. Artists got insurance policies on them. And then when you do your people dirty, you know what? We're investing money. We got money coming in both ways. Off the record, off the album, and off the destruction the album causes. We got investments in that. So they win both ways. Like you said, it's all the money hustle.
They have a name for that. It's called dead peasants insurance. When the artist actually dies, someone profits off of that death.
That's the game, man.
Dead peasants insurance.
And now you got mortuary services. That's another heavy game. Mortuary services is another game.
And they never go out of business.
Yeah. That's another investment. But a lot of our people are in this cycle and don't know it. But you know what the Most High does? Because we don't appreciate and we don't acknowledge and we don't serve the Most High with joyfulness and gladness of heart. The Most High said, I'm going to have you serve your enemy. So your enemy sets up all these snares and traps. Even a disaster is a payday for him. Your birth is a payday for him. You hear about the little couple in Dallas that had a baby that the state took. They had a baby without taking the baby to the hospital. They had an in-home childbirth.
That's crazy.
And the state came in and took the baby. Now people are petitioning for the state to get the baby back because you decide to have a baby at home, which saves you about a good $5,000 to $10,000. You know what I'm saying? You would save some money.
They want you in debt then.
They want you in debt. That means that, you know what, we're going to come in and confiscate that child. So you're not really as free as you think you are. And
It's the freest country.
Yeah.
It's the freest. It's my right. It's a free country.
Right.
He
think
said
it's
that.
free. It's not free. But this is the nature of the condition
Come
that
on.
we got to be in when we don't appreciate what the Most High has to offer us.
That's crazy.
So the Most High bring us under the hand of these enemies, man. And they're an enemy in every single way possible.
And they're not your friend, because people we're in this generation of where everything's blended together, and everybody's not segregated anymore. These new generations, they don't really see color anymore.
Yeah, but you see, I just want to bring this out. It just hit me.
Bring it up.
You look at Mississippi right now; they're bringing in Jim Crow laws back to Mississippi. I don't know if y'all read about that or seeing that.
Niggas thought it was free.
They thought it was free, but they bringing Jim Crow era laws to where the state is providing a political body, a judiciary body, over the blackest population in the U.S. Jackson is one of the heaviest blackest population in the U.S. They're not even going to be able to vote in their legislators, their judges.
It's over.
Biloxi, same thing.
So Biloxi, Jackson, you're going to get a political body of individuals that don't look like you, that don't live in your areas, that are going to determine what type of jail and prison sentences you get for crime. You have no authority. You're not able to vote them in. You didn't vote them in. They were decided to be the elected individuals to tell you what your prison sentence is going to be.
So you have no leverage.
You have no control.
And the illusion of control you did have, they just took away the illusion of control that they gave you.
Yep.
They did a video game trick that you do with kids, where you take the little video game stick out, you let them play, while you're playing, we'll play together. Yeah. Oh, look what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're playing the video game, and they look up, and they can't see that their controller is not in the box, it's not in the machine.
It's the steering wheel on the stroller that don't work.
Exactly.
That the baby's spinning.
Yeah, that's black people, right?
Yeah, but they pushing it.
White folks is driving, black people like this.
Yeah.
That's where we really are.
Sad, bro. Let's finish that up. Where we
I can't
at?
believe that the Jim Crow laws is back out.
Second Kings chapter 15.
It's like our throwbacks on that.
God. Yeah, Jim Crow. Right? Sharecropping.
Wow, that's next.
Yeah. Let's get that.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse 30.
We'll take it down. We'll end class going to Jotham, which is Uzziah's. I believe that's Uzziah's son. So yeah, I think Jotham is Uzziah's son.
Okay.
And we'll end it. We'll pick up on Jotham next week on his reign and death and his coming into power. Let's go ahead and read that verse 30.
Okay. 2 Kings chapter 15, verse 30. And Hoshea, the son of Elha, made a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and smote him, and slew him, and reigned in his stead, in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. And the rest of the acts of Pekah, and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel.
All right, and let's see if there's anything else in the Josephus on that last section of those last kings.
The general sources about that.
Yeah, that was in 11 and
There's line 234.
234. Let me see.
There where you're at?
Read verse 235.
Line 235, book 9, chapter 11, Josephus. But the king of Assyria, whose name was Tiglath-Pileser, when he had made an expedition against the Israelites and had overrun all the land of Gilead and the region beyond Jordan and the adjoining country, which is called Galilee, and Kadesh and Hazor, he made the inhabitants prisoners and transplanted them into his own kingdom.
So before, a lot of times historically, you get Shalmaneser as being the first to take the children of Israel out of their land and transplant them and bring them into slavery. But we're seeing that Tiglath-Pileser had initiated that process of that initial diaspora of transplanting our people out of countries and bringing them into their own country as slaves. Finish that.
And so much shall suffice to have related here concerning the king of Assyria.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, you okay.
Yeah, just read that one last beginning of chapter 2 or paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2. Now Jotham, the son of Uzziah, reigned over the tribe of Judah in Jerusalem, being a citizen thereof by his mother, whose name was Jerusha. The king was not defective in any virtue, but was religious towards the Most High and righteous towards men, and careful of the good of the city.
So while the northern kingdom was going through a succession of tyrant kings one after another, there was more stability on the southern kingdom side. So they had more stability with Uzziah ruling, I believe, for 54 years, and so about 6 kings had went through. I think he ruled for 54. Did it say 54?
You know what? I'm thinking of Amaziah, I believe. Judah reigned 52 years during all of the stuff we just talked about.
Well, Azariah, Uzziah, same person. Amaziah was, I think that was Uzziah reigned 52, if I'm not mistaken, but or 54. But
we read 52 at the beginning of that chapter.
It was a 50. Yeah, that was 52 because it was a 52nd year of Azariah. It says in the you talking about in Second
his
Kings.
Total reign wasn't that? I got
no. It says in the 250th year of Azariah, king of Judah. So he still had 2 years left.
There.
Yeah, he was still there. He still had 2 years left to rule. He ruled a total of 54, if I'm not mistaken.
I got you.
But when you look at that amount of stability on the southern side, you know, and the tumultuous nature of the kings of the north, the Most High was fed up with the north, and he was starting to eradicate them and pull them out of power. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High's mercy was starting to run out on the northern kingdom side. So we'll pick up on going back to the south next week on the next Shabbat. We'll pick up back on the south and read up until they get overthrown and get ran out of Israel as well, out of Jerusalem. So with that, Imagine, we're going to go and send up our prayers. The water Israel for watching, checking us out online. And we know where we'll pick up at next week with Jotham, Uzziah's son, or Azariah's son. All right, Imagine we'll put up and down. Imagine face these. Yahweh. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Please listen to us. Please listen to us. Right now. Right now. Send Micah Allah. Send Micah Allah. And the righteous angel. And the righteous angel. To watch over. To watch over. To bless. To bless. Heal. Heal. Protect. Protect. And make strong. And make strong. The people of Yasha'Allah. The people of Yasha'Allah. Also send unto us. Also send unto us. Much wisdom. Much wisdom. Much knowledge. Much knowledge. Much understanding. Much understanding. Much patience. Much patience. Much faith. Much faith. Much brotherhood. Much brotherhood. And much love. And much love. Spiritual power. Spiritual power. And forgive us. And forgive us. And forgive. And forgive. All of our sins. Yahweh Shai. Come quickly. For in thee is our hope. Always. And forever. Amen. Barakatah Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Blessed you Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the ram's horn to call the people.
Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Shaman, Zayah, Ramashak, Yasha'al.
Blessed you Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
All right. Psalms 92. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh.
And to sing praises unto thy name.
O
Yahweh. To show forth thy loving kindness. In the morning. And thy faithfulness. Every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings. And upon the psaltery. Upon the harp. With the solemn sound. Thou Yahweh has made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hand. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth the fool understand this. When the wicked spring is the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, art Yahweh, art most high, evermore. For lo thine enemies, O Yahweh, lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. With mine horn shalt thou exalt, like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see. My desire, mine enemies, and mine ears shall hear. My desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. To show that the Lord is upright. He is my rock. And there is no unrighteousness in him. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama'awa, Ladawad, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Na'ayam, Shabbat, Akim, Gam, Yechad, Hashaman, Hatawab, Al, Hara'ash, Yerad, Al, Hazakwan, Zakwan, Haran, Shayarad, Al, Payab, Harawafiwa, Katol, Karamwan, Shayarad, Al, Baharia, Tazawad, Kaya, Sham, Tazawad, Yahweh, Habaraka, Kayayim, Al, Hawalam. Excuse me.
Ba'ashem Yahushai. I got it right here in English. I'm coming in English. Slack. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Amen.
All right, 4 quarters. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Hakanawa, Wasa'ala, Wahabiyah, Sapari, 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 Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. The Wadi Yahweh. Wadi Yahweh Shai. All love. All mercy. All truth. All power. All praise. All joy. All power. From Yahweh. All power. From Yahweh. All power. From Yahweh. In Yahweh Shai's name we pray. The water. Amyad. Aman. Men circle up. Sisters have a seat.
You got it, sir?
Sir. Saluting out in the heavenly order, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Uko Yisrael, and Israel, Almighty. Rock. Yahweh From top, time for sisters. Saluting out the daughters of Zion, and Israel, Almighty. Rock.
It's like Yahshua done by Shem Yahushua. My bad, I was choking. Go ahead. Yajmatah. Dismissed. Fall out.
Lord, for coming through.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
We'll see y'all on back again on Monday.
Come.
We're not on Zoom.